Chapter 1251. Bodyguard or Spy. Shahan's face turned very, very pale. Chibing's words were too much. She didn't know what happened to other people, but she, Shahan, was absolutely innocent. Since her debut, she hadn't even filmed an intimate scene with a man, let alone having a relationship with someone else. Young Master Zhao, I hope you understand that we're paying to see a doctor. Yarawang is treating us, and it's not like we're not paying. We can't agree to your request. Wang Sis rejected Chibing's proposal. Paying? You think you're so great just because you're rich? Don't you know who I am? I'm the young master of the hidden house Zhao. What's money in my eyes? I have money. Don't think that just because you have money, I have to treat you. This isn't a hospital. If you think you're rich, you can go to the hospital. But here, money doesn't work. Chibing laughed coldly and raged. You either stay with me or leave. Make your choice. You. Shu Shahan was so angry that her body was shaking. Her headache came back again. Shu Shahan held her temples as cold sweat dripped down from her forehead. Han, what's wrong? Wang Sis was shocked and quickly held Shu Shahan's hand. It's nothing. Wang Sis, I'll be fine in a while. Shahan breathed heavily. What a pain. You reap what you sow. If you'd agreed to my request earlier, this wouldn't have happened, right? Chibing laughed coldly as if he had Shahan in his grasp. Wang Sis, let's go. Shahan gritted her teeth and stood up. Her personality was like this. She'd rather die than submit. The more you forced her, the more she wouldn't submit. Even if she died, she wouldn't submit to you. If he really cured her, and their relationship improved, Shahan might really give herself to him. After all, humans were sentimental creatures. It was hard to say what would happen after a long time. But what Shu Shahan hated the most was this kind of arrogant and threatening people. She would rather die in pain than give in. Han. Wang Sis was in a difficult position. She'd finally found a famous doctor, and now it was like this. Capsule, since they don't want to see us, let's send them off. Zhao Chibing, on the other hand, didn't think much of it. As long as he had Yarawang as his trump card, he didn't have to worry about not taking the bait. At that time, your headache will be unbearable, and you will have no choice but to come and beg me. Manager Wang, Miss Shu, please. Su Jiaonang stood up and said lightly. At the same time, everything that happened in the private room was clearly heard by the driver of the business car downstairs. What Wang Sis didn't know was that her phone was bugged, and the person who bugged her was her driver and assistant, Shu Shahan's bodyguard, Feng Sanhuang. The name Feng Sanhuang sounded like a butler or a servant in a big family. It wasn't common, but of course, it was just a name. It didn't matter if it was a little weird. The important thing was that he was good at martial arts. He had been protecting Shu Shahan for the past few years. He was conscientious and responsible. This was also the reason why Wang Sis and Shu Shahan valued him so much. But no one would have thought that such a seemingly loyal person would actually install a listening device in Sister Wang's phone. Feng Sanhuang's face darkened as he listened to Chibing's words. He hesitated for a moment before dialing a phone number. Sanhuang? What's the matter? The call went through quickly, and a deep male voice came from the other side. I heard that Han is going to Songshan for a concert. What happened? Why didn't I know about this? I'm sorry, Master. The concert happened too suddenly, and I didn't have time to report. Feng Sanhuang quickly explained. It was last night. Manager Wang made the decision. Huh? What's going on? Why the rush? Did something happen? Did the company force Han? The man called Master asked in a deep voice. That's not it. I've already asked someone to hint to Manager Zhong of the entertainment company. He wouldn't force the miss. Feng Sanhuang said. It's like this. I heard that there's a miracle doctor here in Songshan called Zhao Yarawang. He can cure the miss's headache, so Manager Wang brought the miss here to see the doctor. That's why he's holding the concert in Songshan. I see. Feng Sanhuang's master nodded. So what? Han's headache. That Zhao Yarawang gave the miss an unknown pill, and her headache was immediately suppressed. It seems like it's working, but Zhao Yaowang's master, Zhao Chibing, is a pervert. He wants the miss to satisfy some of his desires, or he won't treat the miss. Feng Sanhuang said. Master, do you need me, Zhao Qibing? Who is he? Feng Sanhuang's master asked. Just an illegitimate son of a hidden house. I've already investigated him. Feng Sanhuang said faintly. Feng Sanhuang had only been in Songshan for one morning, and he already knew everything about Zhao Qibing. Although Zhao Qibing had revealed his identity at the banquet, he didn't mention that he was an illegitimate son. This meant that Feng Sanhuang's information network was extremely huge. An illegitimate son of a hidden house? From the hidden house Zhao? Feng Sanhuang's master asked. Yes, that's right. He dared to covet the miss. Feng Sanhuang didn't seem to care about the hidden house Zhao at all. No need. A hidden house isn't a big deal, but I don't want your identity to be exposed right now. At least not now. Feng Sanhuang's master sighed. Soon. It won't be long before I become the head of the sect, and I'll reunite with Han. No one will dare to do anything to her then. Congratulations, master. Feng Sanhuang was slightly stunned and said with some excitement. He knew that the master had been waiting for this day for a long time. Once he became the head of the sect, he wouldn't have to be afraid of the pressure from the mistress's family. Ian, let's not talk about this, you just need to protect the miss. This Zhao Yarawang actually has a way to cure Han's headache? Even the doctors on my side can't see any problems. How about this, don't let Han take the pill randomly, and try to get one of Zhao Yaowang's pills for me to see. Don't let anything go wrong, Feng Sanhuang's master said. Yes, master. I understand, master. Feng Sanhuang nodded. Chapter 1252. Chapter 1250, Zhao Qibing's deduction replying to master. There is no news of second mistress for the time being. Feng Sanhuang also sighed. There has been no news for so many years. Back then, second mistress suffered such heavy injuries. I'm afraid that she has met with misfortune. I know. Man, do your best. Sanhuang's master said. Okay. Master, miss is coming out, I'll hang up first. Sanhuang saw Shahan and Wang Sis walk out of the hotel and quickly hung up. He believed that the master wouldn't blame him, because the master wouldn't allow Sanhuang to reveal his identity. All these years, Sanhuang had been a bodyguard for Shahan, a real bodyguard. Although he was hired by Wang Sis in name, that wasn't the case. He had already helped Shahan deal with too many things, too many people. Otherwise, Shahan's career wouldn't be this smooth. In Sanhuang's eyes, anyone who disrespected the miss had to die. Miss Shu, Wang Sis, how come you're done eating so soon? Sanhuang saw Shahan and Wang Sis coming back and naturally pretended not to know what was going on. This was in line with his identity as a driver, assistant, and bodyguard. Shu Shahan had returned to normal by now. She had rested in the bathroom for half a day before coming out. This gave Sanhuang enough time to make a call. Hey, little Feng, this Zhao Qibing isn't a good person, asking Xiaohan to sleep with him. What the hell? Why don't you take a look at yourself? Who do you think you are? How dare you have thoughts about Xiaohan? Wang Sis shook her head, but he also said that if Xiaohan doesn't sleep with him, there's no need to talk about the treatment. Oh, this guy really isn't a good person. Sanhuang pretended not to know and immediately started scolding Zhao Qibing. Wang Sis, what do we do now? What else can we do? From what Zhao Qibing said, there's no room for compromise, and he seems to be the young master of some noble house, not interested in money. We can't even spend money. Wang Sis said angrily, I'm afraid there's no hope. Wang Sis, forget it, we won't treat him, it's nothing, I can endure it. Shahan was optimistic, I've endured it for so many years, what's the difference now? Sigh, it's been hard on Xiaohan. This Zhao Qibing really isn't a good person. Wang Sis sighed. After they left, Jiaoneng asked in a low voice, Master Bing, should we get Sihua to get someone to tie Shu Shahan up? No need. Shu Shahan is a public figure after all, it wouldn't be good to force her. If something really happened, it wouldn't be easy to clean up the mess. Qibing waved his hand. But, Shu Shahan, this girl sure knows what to do. He could actually endure the headache. Wasn't it just getting fucked? Can't die. Are there any less performers like them who get fucked? This. Su Jiaonong hesitated. Master Bing, Xu Shahan hasn't had any scandals since her debut. On her fan club forum, many fans believe that Xu Shahan is still a virgin. Are you serious? She's a virgin? Chibing paused. No way? It seems like it's possible now. Jiaonong analyzed. Master Bing, think about it. If Xu Shahan wasn't a virgin, letting you sleep with her for a night wouldn't be a problem, it could even cure her headache. But now, it seems like Xu Shahan's attitude is a bit problematic. You're right. Chibing nodded. If Xu Shahan is really a virgin, then I'm really lucky. But, I'm afraid that Xu Shahan won't come back. Jiaonong was worried. If that's the case, Xu Shahan might just leave today. No way? She'd rather stay in pain? Chibing didn't quite believe it. It's hard to say. Jiaonong shook his head. Leaving Chibing aside, the news of Xu Shahan's concert spread like wildfire. Whether it was on TV or media, they all began to publicize the concert. Xu Shahan looked at the flyer and felt helpless. If she knew this would happen, she wouldn't have stayed here to treat her illness. She wouldn't have organized this concert. But, the publicity had already been released, and it was impossible to stop it. Xu Shahan could only grit her teeth and continue rehearsing, trying to make the concert a success. Wow, the publicity for Xu Shahan's concert is out already? Yu Shu was surprised as she looked at the news on her phone. Ian, I've already booked the tickets through the internet. If I didn't book it in advance, the tickets would probably be sold out. Meng Yaro had already prepared for this. You can book tickets with your phone too? Tang Yun was surprised. She wasn't familiar with these high-tech things, and she had never used a phone before. The phone Lin Yi bought for her was only for calling and texting. She didn't use any other functions. Yes, but you need to set up a monthly data plan, Meng Yaro said. Right, Lin Yi, did you talk to Yun Yun about being the host? Ian, I texted her and she said that she would try. Lin Yi nodded. I'm afraid that I won't be able to do it well. This was Tang Yun's first time as a host. She didn't like to show her face in public. She knew that she was very beautiful, and she didn't want people to harass her, so she kept a low profile. But now that she had Lin Yi's protection, no one dared to harass her in school anymore, so Tang Yun was able to relax. Being a host for a public event while she was still a student was a good experience. It's fine, they're all good lines. Just read them. Meng Yaro didn't feel nervous at all. She was a lady from a rich family, and she was confident. Plus, just do whatever you want. No one will do anything to you if you say something wrong. It's just a school event, it's not an official live broadcast. En. Hearing Meng Yaro say it so casually, Tang Yun calmed down. Right, this is my mom's braised chicken leg. Do you guys want to try it? Originally, when we moved into our new house, we wanted to invite you to Liaogua Di for a feast, but Xiao Xiao got into trouble, so it was delayed. So, my mom specially brought some chicken legs. Sure, I love chicken drumsticks. Yu Shu said as she picked one up with her chopsticks and started eating. The food in the cafeteria wasn't here yet, so she could start eating first. Xiao Xiao picked up a drumstick and started wolfing it down without a care in the world. Chapter 1253. Chapter 1251. Guessed right, not bad. I've tried Mrs. Tang's cooking before. Lin Yi took a drumstick and took a bite. Tang Yun felt very satisfied as she looked at the group eating the drumsticks. Life sure was strange. Never in her wildest dreams would she have thought that she'd become good friends with Meng Yaro and Yu Shu. The three of them were known as school beauties, but Tang Yun knew very well the difference between her and Meng Yaro and Yu Shu. One was a commoner school beauty, and the other was a rich miss. If it weren't for Lin Yi, Tang Yun wouldn't have been able to eat at the same table with Meng Yaro and Yu Shu even after graduation, let alone going out and living in the same tent. After graduation, everyone would go their separate ways, and they wouldn't meet again. Maybe in a future reunion, Meng Yaro would take over Pengzhan Industries, and Shu would be by her side, and they'd become even more dazzling. She, on the other hand, would become like her mother because of time. Now that she thought about it, her mother's snobbishness wasn't unreasonable. Who didn't want to live a better life? It was just that she didn't understand this before, and she never thought about it. Fortunately, the heavens let her meet Lin Yi, and after meeting him, life became completely different. Maybe in a future reunion, she'd be able to sit with the Miss and Shu. Life was really strange. Since Yun and I are the hosts of the event, we won't have the chance to participate in the singing competition anymore. Shu, you and Xiao Xiao can participate if you want, right? Meng Yarrow asked. If Yarrow isn't going, I won't go either, Yushu said. If Yun sis isn't going, I won't go either, Xiao Xiao said. Meng Yarrow and Tang Yun looked at each other, speechless. In that instant, the miss felt that Tang Yun had really gotten stronger. Before she knew it, Xiao Xiao had run over to her side, and the two seemed to be evenly matched now. If they were to fight again, it'd be a 2-2 tie. But now, the possibility of a war was very, very small. Even if Xiao Xiao really did leave, the three wouldn't be able to go back to the tense situation they used to be. After all, their friendship had been formed, and no one would want to turn against each other again. They could only accept each other and endure it silently. Meng Yarrow wondered if this was a good thing or a bad thing. Good things and bad things, what does that have to do with me? She had never liked Lin Yi. Yes, she didn't like him. In the afternoon, the school changed to a self-study session, and each class sent out some of their better singers to the field for the competition. Since it didn't concern them, Lin Yi, Meng Yarrow, Yushu, Tang Yun, and Xiao Xiao didn't go watch, instead going to their own classrooms to study. Ling Shan drove to Donghai and met Huaijuan in one of the hotel rooms. If it were someone else, Ling Shan, naturally, wouldn't go to a place as intimate as a hotel room. If word got out, people would think that she was seducing her boss to get a higher position. But Huaijuan was fine. Everyone in the police station knew that Ling Shan had always treated Huaijuan as her big brother, and that Huaijuan had always taken good care of her. Other than their sibling bond, there wasn't anything special between the two. Of course, this was also because Huaijuan was a righteous man, and he didn't have any rumors. Otherwise, it would be hard to say. Director Yang, I hope I'm not interrupting your work. Ling Shan was pleasantly surprised to see Huaijuan. Huaijuan had been transferred out not long after she'd been promoted to captain, and she hadn't seen him since. Seeing him here, Ling Shan felt a sense of familiarity. Haha, Song, this isn't a unit. Just call me young bro, why call me director? It's so distant. Huaijuan was doing pretty well. His injuries were under control after taking the medicine Lin Yi gave him, and it didn't hurt as much anymore. He felt a lot more relaxed. Okay, I'll call you young bro then. Ling Shan was very obedient in front of Huaijuan, like a little sister. But Ling Shan only saw Huaijuan as an idol. She didn't have any romantic feelings for him. Idolatry and love were two different things. She didn't know why, but she had this feeling that Lin Yi was stronger than the young bro she respected. Ling Shan felt very guilty. She was just a normal woman after all, forgetting about her brother when she had a lover. What's wrong? Why's your face turning red and white? Huaijuan asked curiously. It's nothing. Ling Shan shook her head, a little embarrassed. I just thought of someone. It's nothing. Oh. Who did you think of? You're not thinking of a boyfriend, are you? Huaijuan teased as he looked at Ling Shan. Of course not. Ling Shan jumped in fright. No way, right? Young bro was a criminal investigator. After all, he could tell what was on her mind with just one look. Chem? Huaijuan asked casually, not expecting this kind of expression from Ling Shan. It seemed like he'd guessed right. Huaijuan couldn't help but smile. Lin Yi. Ah. Ling Shan blinked, remembering the relationship between Lin Yi and Huaijuan. She quickly shook her head. Of course not. Looks like I guessed it right. Huaijuan smiled. We're all friends, why'd you hide it from me? Yeah. Lin Yi said that you're his comrade. You guys know each other? Ling Shan said subconsciously before explaining. There's nothing between me and Lin Yi, we're just normal friends. He doesn't like me. Oh? He told you all this? It seems like you guys are pretty close. Huaijuan looked at Ling Shan with a smile that wasn't a smile. Lin Yi didn't really want to talk about the past, but since he'd told Ling Shan all this, it meant that they were close to each other. There was no way Lin Yi would tell her all this otherwise. It's alright, just a little better than normal friends. Ling Shan wanted to say that she'd taken off her clothes, but she didn't. It was too embarrassing. Lin Yi didn't even do anything when she took off her clothes. Chapter 1254. Huaijuan, surprised grandpa introduced me to a boyfriend, House Yu's Yufeng. I'm so annoyed. Ling Shan was troubled just thinking about it. She didn't know what her grandpa was thinking, getting her a fiancé. She wouldn't have told her grandpa about her breakthrough if she'd known. House Yufeng. Huaijuan blinked. He was also a child of an aristocratic family. Although the Yang family was not very famous, it was still an authentic aristocratic family. This kind of aristocratic family usually had an old ancestor who was in seclusion. Moreover, they did not compete for the position of one of the 4 aristocratic families. It was enough to have a place among the 5 small aristocratic families. Therefore, no one would offend such an aristocratic family, but they would also not be excluded too much. Naturally, Huaijuan had heard of Yufeng's name, but what puzzled him was why House Yu and House Song would form a marriage alliance. House Song's advantage wasn't that obvious. Other than the dual practitioner arts, there wasn't anything else worth mentioning. I'm a golden class late phase peak now. Ling Shan didn't hide anything from Huaijuan. This is also why House Yu wants to marry me. They think that I'm already a golden class late phase peak at such a young age, and that my future is limitless. Especially if I dual practice with House Yu, everyone will benefit. You. Golden class late phase peak? Huaijuan's eyes were wide as if he'd seen a ghost. He looked at Ling Shan, unable to believe what she was saying. Huaijuan spoke after a while, shocked. Song, if I remember correctly, you were only a golden class early phase peak when I left Songshan a while ago, right? How did you become a mystic late phase peak all of a sudden? Young bro, if I tell you, can you keep it a secret? Ling Shan didn't want to say it, but after some hesitation, she felt that since Huaijuan was Lin Yi's comrade, and the two were close, it wouldn't hurt to tell him, but the condition was that he had to keep it a secret. Ling Shan, naturally, knew the importance of this. If people knew that Lin Yi could quickly increase someone else's strength, they'd come for Lin Yi or cause trouble for Lin Yi. That wasn't something Ling Shan wanted to see. That was why she was being so careful. Of course. But you don't have to tell me if you want to keep it a secret, I understand. Huaijuan didn't force Ling Shan to tell himself everyone had their own secrets. Young bro, what's your relationship with Lin Yi? Ling Shan asked. Oh. Huaijuan paused, not expecting Ling Shan to ask about Lin Yi instead of answering his question. Could it be that Ling Shan's sudden leveling up had something to do with Lin Yi? He didn't want to hide anything. Lin Yi was my captain before. His Yi Huaijuan. You've guessed. He's someone I respect, and has helped a lot. Lin Yi, Shu, Lin Yi Lin Hu Lin, Lin Yi is have told. Who Lin M, I who dashi Lin, who dashai Lin I've been injured, you know that, but the reason why I'm looking so good is because of Lin Yi. Ling Shan paused. She didn't expect Lin Yi to be Huaijuan's captain, no wonder he was so good, and solving cases for her seemed like a piece of cake to him. She admired young bro so much, and Lin Yi was young bro's captain. That meant that he was even better. If that was the case, then it wasn't a big deal for him to think that Lin Yi was stronger than young bro. Even young bro himself admitted it. With that thought, Ling Shan felt a lot less guilty. My level up. It's all because of Lin Yi. Ling Shan sighed. Surprised, right? I'm surprised too. You've been dual practicing? Huaijuan asked, frowning. No. Ling Shan shook her head. It's a little embarrassing to say it aloud. I tried to seduce him, but I failed. Ling Shan didn't bother hiding it in front of her brother. So what if it was funny? Huaijuan, however, didn't mind Ling Shan's seductive words. He focused on the first half of the sentence. You guys didn't dual practicing, so does that mean that your strength was directly increased by him? That's right, one day, not even a day, and I leveled up. Ling Shan smiled bitterly. I really don't know if he has more tricks up his sleeves. And young bro, I won't hide it from you, but the last few cases I solved were all solved by Lin Yi, thanks to your advice. Solving cases, I know that. Eagle. Lin Yi was in our team back then, and he had a very sharp sense of smell, able to detect things that normal people can't. Huaijuan said. But the leveling up thing. I don't really know. But Ling Shan, don't tell anyone about this. You have to keep it a secret, okay? This matter is too important. I know. Other than young bro, my sister is the only one who knows about this. Lingshan said solemnly. She knew how serious this was, even if Lin Yi didn't seem to care much about it. He'd already leveled up the dog to a golden class late phase peak. Alright, let's end this topic here. Huaijuan didn't plan on asking for more details. He'd ask Lin Yi about the details himself, and he believed that Lin Yi wouldn't hide anything from him. It wouldn't be good for Lingshan to say it already. It'd be bad if Lin Yi did something to her. And so, Huaijuan changed the topic. Song, tell me why you're here. What kind of trouble are you in? Yeah, it's one missing person case after another. Lingshan took out the files and handed it to Huaijuan. Young bro, look at these files. From the looks of it, the missing people in these cases aren't related at all, but the cause of their disappearance is pretty much the same. Yeah, I'll take a look first. Huaijuan nodded and took the files, sitting on the bed and flipping through them. Lingshan didn't say anything, only waiting quietly. Chapter 1255. There's a clue. Yes. Lingshan nodded. Young bro, I feel like these cases seem normal, but there's so many coincidences that it's unusual. I feel like there's a possibility of combining all these cases, and so I'm putting them all together. But up until now, I still haven't figured out the motive of the culprit or the criminal organization. What's their goal? Even if they're the ones who caught the missing people, what's the point of them catching them? That's right, the fact that you're able to think of all this means that you've done your analysis. Huaijuan nodded. But haven't you noticed that all these missing people have one thing in common? What is it? Their occupations, their ages, they're all different. They don't even know each other. Lingshan blinked. They're the lowest class of workers in society, and none of them have good financial conditions. Huaijuan said as he pointed at the case files. None of these people's families are rich. If that's the case, then we can make a bold guess. Why would these people run away after beating people up? According to the case files, the victims in these cases are basically all lightly injured, or even worse than that. The suspects are the majority, and they only need to pay civil compensation. If their families were rich, they could just pay some money. Why would they run away? Huaijuan continued. Of course, this is just on the surface. Looking at it from a deeper level, these people's crimes and escapes are pretty much the same, and we can't just use superficial reasons to analyze it. Let's make a bold hypothesis. If I'm the mastermind, and I'm looking for people to do things for me to achieve a certain goal, I'll probably kill them after I'm done. Then, I'll create some false pretenses to confuse the police and the public, making them think that these people ran away on their own. It's completely reasonable. So you're saying that these people's disappearances were planned by someone, and that the missing people were even cooperating with the mastermind to put on a show? Lingshan said, shocked. She'd felt that something wasn't right before, but she couldn't put her finger on it. Now that Huaijuan said it, she understood. Yes. Huaijuan nodded. The missing person didn't cooperate, and the mastermind alone wouldn't be able to pull this off. How many people do you think would do something like that, if they just ran away after beating someone up? Even if it happens occasionally, it's very rare. How could so many people run away at once? Then, why would they cooperate? Is it because of benefits? Lingshan wasn't an idiot. She figured it out right away. This brings us back to the common point that I mentioned earlier. They are all from poor families. If people like them are given a chance to make money and are enticed, perhaps 50% of them will take the bait. Huaijuan nodded. So, I think you shouldn't put your focus on finding the missing people. If I'm not mistaken, they're either dead or locked up, and you won't have much of a chance of finding them. Your main focus should be on visiting some of the lower levels of society and asking around to see if there have been any recent attempts to use benefits to entice people to do something. I don't believe that the suspect can convince everyone 100% of the time. There must be people who refused, and you should look for clues from those who refuse. Ah. That's right. Young bro, hearing you say that makes me feel like I've been enlightened. Lingshan said. Haha, it'll get better after a while. It's actually a very simple problem, I've just been exposed to it a lot. Huaijuan smiled. I think that as long as you follow this train of thought when you get back, You'll be able to solve the case pretty soon. Yes, thank you for the guidance, young bro, Lingshan said sincerely. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about you and House Yu. Since you're engaged to House Yu, then Lin Yi. Huaijuan was still a little worried about Lin Yi. After all, House Yu was a big family, and it wouldn't be good if they got into a conflict. House Yu's way of doing things is very domineering. If they find out about Lin Yi, I'm afraid that they'll do something to him. Do something? Lingshan's face was a little weird. She smiled bitterly. Young bro, you're from a noble house as well. Didn't you hear about the big thing that happened in Songshan? What big thing? Huaijuan paused. I've been busy with the case these days, so I didn't pay attention to what the noble houses are doing. We, House Yang, on the other hand, are only able to maintain our position as one of the 5 small noble houses. As long as the elder of House Yang is there, our position won't be affected, so I didn't pay too much attention. Lin Yi and House Yu are enemies now. Lin Yi crippled House Yu's Yu Kuan, and killed his father, Yu Bide. House Yu and Lin Yi have been enemies for a long time now. Lingshan smiled bitterly. Do you think that there's a chance that Lin Yi and House Yu would be able to resolve the conflict even if this didn't happen? Seriously? Huaijuan said as he stood up from the bed in shock. He didn't think that Lin Yi would be this strong. He'd only been in Songshan for a few days, and he'd already killed 2 masters from the head of the 9 noble houses, House Yu. Wasn't this a little too strong? Huaijuan was worried that Lin Yi would be at a disadvantage in the conflict with House Yu, but who would have thought that it was House Yu who was at a disadvantage now? Huaijuan couldn't help but sigh. Captain is captain, after all. Anyone else would have died a long time ago if they killed 2 House Yu, but boss is perfectly fine. What a strong man. Yeah. Lingshan couldn't believe it as well, but this was the type of man she liked. She wouldn't like him if he was a coward, hiding when something happened. Forget it, I'm not going to get involved. Your business is too complicated. Huaijuan smiled bitterly. You want to stay here tonight? I'll treat you to dinner. It's okay, I can't wait to get back to work on this case. Lingshan was starting to get impatient now that she had a direction to work on. Alright, next time then. I'm tight on time here as well. Huaijuan sighed. Bring Lin Yi with you next time, we can have a good chat. I have something to talk to him about. Forget it, I'll call him alone. Chapter 1256. Finding the mastermind after Lingshan left, Huaijuan picked up his phone and dialed Lin Yi's number. He had some things he wanted to talk to Lin Yi about, but after what Lingshan said today, he couldn't wait any longer and couldn't wait to meet up with Lin Yi. Huaijuan didn't tell Lin Yi before, because he didn't want Lin Yi to get involved. Huaijuan knew Lin Yi's personality, and there were some things that Lin Yi couldn't pretend not to know once he knew. But if Lin Yi really did something, it'd be very dangerous. But now, after hearing Lingshan's words, Huaijuan realized that he'd underestimated his captain. They hadn't even done anything yet, and they'd already become enemies with House Yu, killing 2 of their masters. There were some things that Huaijuan couldn't hide anymore. The reason why Huaijuan stayed in Donghai for this period of time was because this international drug trafficking case had something to do with what happened in the past. Otherwise, Huaijuan wouldn't have left his work in Songshan and come here to help. Usually, it was the captain or vice-captain of the criminal police who was seconded to help with a case, and it was rare for the vice-director to be seconded. This was because Huaijuan knew this drug trafficking case quite well, and he'd had a conflict with this drug cartel before. But as the investigation progressed, Huaijuan became more and more frustrated and helpless. Behind the drug trafficking group, there were some secrets that no one knew about. Back then, Huaijuan had returned from a mission in North Africa under orders to track down an international drug trafficker. It was this mission that caused his entire team to be annihilated, and Huaijuan had barely escaped with his life, but he'd almost died there as well. But all his martial arts were crippled, and his meridians were destroyed. Huaijuan had thought that it was just a coincidence, but a couple of days ago, he'd learned some secrets from a mid-level leader of a drug cartel who'd just been captured. The information the boss knew was vague, but it was enough for Huaijuan to understand what the mastermind was trying to do. They were vicious. Huaijuan knew that Lin Yi would avenge him and the Pangolin brothers if he found out about this. But Huaijuan didn't want Lin Yi to get hurt because of him. Lin Yi wasn't a match for them yet. But now, it seemed that none of that mattered. Brother Jun, why are you calling me at this hour? You're back in Songshan? Lin Yi was studying with Xiao Xiao in the classroom when Huaijuan's call came in. No, I'm still in Donghai. Can we talk on the phone? Huaijuan asked. What is it? Lin Yi looked around. There weren't many people in the class, only Xiao Xiao was beside him. Most of the people were watching the singing competition on the field, and other than Xiao Xiao, no one else could hear Lin Yi's words. Lingshan came just now to ask me about the case, but she brought some news with her. There wasn't that much hypocrisy between the two, and Huaijuan went straight to the point. Her strength increased, from early phase peak to late phase peak of the golden class. Is that because of you? Yes, you can too. Lin Yi didn't hesitate at all. This is also why I called you last time. I can fix your meridians and bring your strength up to golden class late phase peak. Ah! Lin Yi admitting it so straightforwardly made Huaijuan a little uncomfortable. Huaijuan knew that Lin Yi wouldn't hide it from him, but leveling up wasn't something that could be done just like that. There had to be a lot of hard work involved, and Lin Yi helping Lingshan might be because Lin Yi liked her, but Huaijuan, even if he was Lin Yi's brother, there was no need for Lin Yi to do something like this, was there? Yet, Lin Yi didn't even seem to think about it before blurting it out. Huaijuan was touched, but he couldn't help but think that Lin Yi would definitely avenge him and the armadillo if he were to tell Huaijuan about it. And so, Huaijuan decided to remind Lin Yi not to be impulsive. He had to tell him, but he had to warn him beforehand. Golden class late phase peak. Sounds tempting. Huaijuan smiled. Then I'll thank you first. You don't have to thank me. Jun bro, you called me just for this? Lin Yi didn't think that Huaijuan was someone that impulsive, right? No, it's just a question. There's something important I need to tell you, but you have to promise me that you won't be impulsive after you hear the news. You have to plan before you act, and don't do anything you're not confident in yet. Huaijuan said seriously after a sigh. Oh, what is it? Lin Yi was curious at Huaijuan's seriousness. Jun bro, what are you talking about? It's about my injury, and Armadillo's death. Huaijuan said sorrowfully. I think I can guess who the mastermind is. Mastermind? Isn't it an international drug lord? Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. Yes, but based on the evidence we have, we can deduce that this international drug trafficking organization is connected to House Yu. Huaijuan said. Which House Yu? Lin Yi's heart raced. Don't worry, it's not that hidden House Yu. It's the common world's House Yu, Huaijuan smiled. Jun bro, you're joking again. Lin Yi didn't want to talk about the past, and changed the topic. Are you sure it's House Yu? They should be the mastermind. These few years, the noble houses have been getting into accidents. I'm guessing that if House Yu wants to grow, they'll have to attack the other noble houses. I'm the hope of House Yang's rise in this generation, and I'm already a golden class at 16. My potential is limitless, so House Yu wants to kill me, but Armadillo and my other teammates are involved. Huaijuan guessed. House Yu. Very good. Lin Yi repeated the name faintly. Eagle, don't do anything stupid. Huaijuan's heart skipped a beat. He knew Lin Yi's personality. Lin Yi said it calmly, but Lin Yi didn't have any emotions when he talked about House Yu. Back on the battlefield, this was how Lin Yi acted before he was about to kill someone. Chapter 1257. Chapter 1255. Pangolin's sister. Haha, don't worry, Jun bro, I won't do things I'm not confident in. Lin Yi smiled. Yes, if it were the old Lin Yi, he would have gone straight to House Yu, but the current Lin Yi was much more mature than before. Revenge required strategy, too. He'd be an idiot if he gave himself up instead of getting his revenge. I'm glad you said that. Huaijuan let out a sigh of relief. It's just a guess, though. I'm confident, but the evidence is still too little. If House Yu really is connected to the drug cartel, even if you don't do anything to him, I'll report it to the Secret Investigation Bureau and have them punish House Yu. A guess is enough. I don't like them anymore. One more guess is just one more reason to kill them. Lin Yi said faintly. There's no place to vent, so I'll just put this on their heads. That. Do whatever you want, Huaijuan smiled bitterly. Right, there's one more thing. Ying, when I was reorganizing the cases, I pulled out the files of our fallen comrades. I wasn't a cop back then, so I didn't have the authority. After I came back, I didn't want to remember the past, so I chose to forget it on purpose. But when I pulled out the files a few days ago, I realized that many of our comrades had parents and even younger siblings at home. It hurt my heart to see them, so I decided to visit them one by one. I'll leave Pangolin to you then. Pangolin. He still has a family. Lin Yi's expression was a little moved as his memories returned to that time. That kid always had a smile on his face. He remembered that he would always look at a picture on his pocket watch when there was no one around, not letting anyone see it. Lin Yi used to tease him, saying that he was looking at a picture of his sweetheart, making Pangolin blush. Lin Yi sighed. His former comrade in arms, where are you now? Did you really die? Pangolin has a sister, and coincidentally, she's also in Songshan. I just found out, Huaijuan said, a little emotional. Sister. He has a sister. In Songshan? Lin Yi was stunned. Could it be that the photo he saw before was of his sister? Yes, his sister is 16 years old this year and is in grade 9. She should be taking the senior high school entrance examination this year, Huaijuan said. Her sister's Ying Ziyu, in Fushan Middle School's class 6. Ying Ziyu? Lin Yi sighed secretly. He didn't know how a little girl like her had survived all these years. Does she have any parents or relatives? No, Pangolin's parents were also special agents, and they both died in another mission. Pangolin has been raising his little sister since she was young. Huaijuan said. Armadillo received special training early on in order to support his sister. He became a secret agent, but that's enough. Lin Yi felt the urge to cry. He didn't know how Ziyu got here. Her parents were dead, and her brother was sacrificed. Did she know about this? I found out through the household registration system. If she wasn't in Songshan, it wouldn't be easy to find her. She's already moved, and her brother's certificate and pension haven't been received. Huaijuan smiled bitterly. If I didn't look into it, I would have missed it. So you're saying that this Ying Ziyu doesn't know that her brother died? Lin Yi's heart grew heavier. How was he supposed to tell Ziyu that he had to go see her? She wanted him to personally tell her that her brother was dead. Yes. Huaijuan sighed. That's why I wanted you to go, Captain. You're about the same age as her, you should be easier to communicate with. I wouldn't know how to tell her. Don't bullshit, I'm about the same age as her. She's just a little girl. How am I supposed to tell her? Lin Yi said helplessly. If you really don't want to go, then wait for me to get back to Songshan. We'll go together and give her the certificate and pension, Huaijuan said, knowing the pain Lin Yi was feeling. Let's forget about the certificate and pension for now. We didn't find the body, right? Maybe Armadillo's still fine. Lin Yi quickly stopped her. According to what Huaijuan said, Ziyu probably didn't know about her brother's death yet, and she was about to take her high school entrance exams. It'd be a huge blow to her if she found out, so Lin Yi didn't want to tell her this straight away. At least wait until she got into high school, right? That's right, no news is good news. Huaijuan nodded. Alright, I'll go see her in a bit. I'm free anyway. It was fine if Lin Yi didn't know, but now that he knew Armadillo had a sister, Lin Yi couldn't just ignore it. He had to see if Ziyu was doing well. Armadillo was gone, and he was her brother. He had to take care of her. Armadillo was like Huaijuan, they were friends who'd gone through life and death together. Okay, that's all for now. Don't worry about Houseyu too much, don't alert them. Huaijuan's last sentence was actually to keep Lin Yi in check. Don't worry, Jun bro. I know what I'm doing. Lin Yi nodded. After hanging up, Lin Yi wasn't in a good mood. Although there were many kids like Ziyu who'd lost their parents and brother, they had nothing to do with him. But Armadillo's sister was different. Lin Yi was a heartless person, but he was a person who valued relationship. Lin Yi was cold to strangers and enemies, but he cared about his friends and lovers. Lin Yi honey, what's wrong? You don't seem very happy. Xiao Xiao had been paying attention to Lin Yi's face. She didn't know who Lin Yi was talking to, but she could feel the heaviness in Lin Yi's heart. It's nothing. Xiao Xiao, are you free now? Want to go out with me? Lin Yi asked. Oh, you mean the sister of that person you were talking about? Xiao Xiao didn't really understand what Lin Yi was talking about, but she got the gist of it. Yes, the sister of one of my comrades. Lin Yi sighed. That comrade sacrificed himself. He was my good brother. Chapter 1258. She was Ying Ziyu. Lin Yi didn't drive today. He stopped a taxi at the school gates and headed to Fushan High. On the way, Lin Yi got a text from Huaijuan, sending Ziyu's information and pictures. Wow, she's pretty. Lin Yi honey, are you interested in her? Xiao Xiao smiled as she looked at the pretty girl on Lin Yi's phone. Lin Yi was speechless. He glared at Xiao Xiao. She's just a little girl, why would I be interested? That's obviously from her ID. She must be prettier in real life if she's this pretty, Xiao Xiao said. Not as pretty as you. Lin Yi didn't know what to say. Really, really, really? Xiao Xiao's eyes turned into crescents after hearing Lin Yi's words. She looked at Lin Yi excitedly and blissfully. Really? Lin Yi nodded. Then me, Tang Yun sis, Yaro Yaro sis, and Shu, who's the prettiest? Xiao Xiao continued. All of you. Lin Yi didn't want to start a war, but he was being truthful. There was no way to tell who was the prettiest, just like Chun Hua and Qiu Yu. They were both the prettiest, and they had their own specialties. It wasn't easy to put them together. Man, I knew you'd say that. But that's fine, it's the fairest. Xiao Xiao wasn't annoyed. I thought you'd say Tang Yun sis is the prettiest. Ha ha. Lin Yi shrugged, not saying much. Since they were in the taxi, Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao didn't talk about anything too personal. When they were about to reach Fushan High School, the taxi driver stopped the car on the side of the road not far away and said, You too, I'll stop here. I don't dare to drive over and smash my car again, ah? Lin Yi was stunned. What do you mean? You guys came to Fushan High, don't you know what it looks like? The driver looked at Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao oddly. What? Is there something wrong with Fushan High School? Lin Yi wasn't from Songshan, so naturally he didn't know much about Fushan High. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was in Songshan First High for a while before transferring to another school. Fushan High was very far from the main city, and if it weren't for Lin Yi, she wouldn't even know that there was a high school like this in Songshan. Fushan Middle School is the most chaotic middle school in the city. The students there smoke, drink, fight, take drugs, and have promiscuous relationships. In short, it can't be any worse. The driver shook his head. This is a hooligan school. The students who come out of here are either arrested or become hooligans. Huh? Lin Yi broke out in a cold sweat. It can't be, right? Ziyu went to school here. Smoking, drinking, and fighting was one thing, but taking drugs and having promiscuous relationships. A few black lines appeared on Lin Yi's head. There aren't any good students here. The ones that study hard. Xiao Xiao's face was a little weird as well, but Xiao Xiao was more natural. She was a problem student in the past, messing around in society. Even good students are led astray. The driver curled his lips. If they really wanted to study, they'd have applied to transfer to other schools already. Here, they're all degenerating. I only dared to drive you here because you two are from Songshan First High. I wouldn't even dare drive a student wearing the Fushan High uniform. Not only would I not pay, I'd probably get beaten up and smash the car. So messy. As Lin Yi sighed, he felt bad as well. She was his comrade's sister, after all. If she really did drugs and promiscuous relationships, Lin Yi really wouldn't know what to do. Lin Yi could force her to detox, but he still felt guilty. Yeah, I gotta go. Good luck, you guys. Don't you see there's a fight going on over there? I don't know where they're from, but they're all armed with knives and metal sticks. The driver pointed at the school gates and said to Lin Yi, Thank you. Lin Yi nodded and got off the car with Xiao Xiao. Fushan High, now that he mentioned it, I do have some impression of it. There were indeed some delinquents that came from Fushan High back in society, Xiao Xiao said after some thought. Who cares, let's see how Ziyu is. Lin Yi's steps were a little heavy. He wondered how he'd treat Ziyu, who lived a life of debauchery. The old Lin Yi wouldn't bother with people like this, but now he had to. Fushan Middle School looked very shabby. The red brick walls of the school were from an unknown era. There were some advertisements for STD treatment and certificate applications. There were also some small advertisements for K-powder. It was enough to show how chaotic the school was. Sure enough, at the school gate, there were two groups of students confronting each other. Every student held a knife and a metal rod in their hands. Some of them were shirtless, some of them had shaved their heads, and some of them even had tattoos. It was similar to a gang fight in gangster movies. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. These people blocked the school gates, and Lin Yi had to wait for them to finish fighting if he wanted to go over. These people were nothing in Lin Yi's eyes, and killing them was easier than killing ants. But Lin Yi didn't want to stick his nose in other people's business. These people's lives had nothing to do with him, and he'd have one less scum of society if he killed them. If they didn't die, they'd be taken in by Zhu Tiandi or Tsihua after graduation, becoming scum of society. Lin Yi held Xiao Xiao's hand, watching the fight from the side. Ying Ziyu, you little bitch, I'll give you two choices today. 1, be my girl, and your underling will be my underling. If you stay by my side, you'll be able to eat and drink well. When others see you, they'll respectfully call you sister-in-law. You'll be even better than you are now. Blocking the entrance of Fushan Middle School, a scar-faced man, who was the leader of a group of people, raised a shiny knife and shouted at the other group of people. Fart. Lin Yi's eyes went wide, as if someone stepped on his tail. He almost jumped up. What? Ying Ziyu? Lin Yi looked in the direction the scar-faced man was pointing at, and saw a girl in black tights, holding a knife in her hand as well. Behind her was a group of students with knives, guns, and clubs as well, but this group was clearly smaller than the scar-faced man's group. Chapter 1259. Chapter 1257, telling you to scram, but her face didn't look as pretty as it did in the picture. It was filled with coldness. She was pretty, but the hatred in her eyes made Lin Yi frown. This girl seemed to be a gang leader. She seemed to be cutting people up quite a bit. Lin Yi had thought that Ziyu was a problem girl, but he didn't think it would be to this extent. About the same as you used to be. Lin Yi looked at Xiao Xiao. I'm not as strong as her. I'm just messing around, but she's already cutting people up with her gang. Xiao Xiao shook her head. Lin Yi nodded. Xiao Xiao was right. Xiao Xiao had been studying in a better school, and even as a big sister, she couldn't be like Ziyu, bringing a bunch of gang members with her. This is Ying Ziyu. Fuck. Lin Yi couldn't help but curse. Lin Yi normally wouldn't curse, but he really couldn't hold it in today. What? You really want to fuck her? Xiao Xiao blinked. Lin Yi glared at her. Don't joke around, I don't know how to do it. I'm a bit helpless. I thought she was a punching bag with no parents, no big brother to take care of her, but we'll see. Xiao Xiao understood Lin Yi's feelings. Bullshit, Scarface Bear, have you forgotten how you got that scar on your head? How dare you come to Fushan High and act all cocky? Ziyu didn't back down. You want to hit on me? Why don't you take a look at yourself? Your face is simply a work of the gods. Why don't you just die? Ying Ziyu, who doesn't know how to talk. You're right, I got this scar because of you, but so what? I swore right then that I'd get you on my bed and fuck you to death. Scarface, who was called Scar Bear, snorted and said, however, I, Scar Bear, am not the same as before. I'm now working for Brother Guang. Brother Guang has already given me Fushan Middle School's territory. I'm here today to take over Fushan Middle School. Otherwise, do you think I would have dared to come here if I wasn't sure? Why don't you look at the people behind me? Ziyu's face changed after hearing the words. She felt that something wasn't right, too. This Scar Bear was just a gangster. How did he get so many people? Moreover, the knives and iron rods in their hands were very professional. It turned out that they had come from another dock. So what if there are more people? When Filong Bro comes, your men will all die here today. Ziyu frowned, but she wasn't too worried. Fushan High School was divided into 3 factions. Although he was the smallest faction, he had a good relationship with the leader of the largest faction, Nan Filong. Thus, Nan Filong couldn't just stand by and watch if something happened to him. Southern Filong? How naive of you. Women are indeed naive. Scar Bear laughed, not caring at all. How long has it been since I came here? Your follower went to tell Nan Phylong long ago, right? Where is he? Why isn't he here yet? Ziyu's face changed. It wasn't that she didn't think of this, but she had a good relationship with Nan Phylong. She didn't think that he wouldn't come, but now, haha. What? You don't believe me? I'll tell you the truth. Nan Phylong has already made me his boss. Moreover, I've promised him that I'll help him consolidate Fushan High's power. From now on, he'll be the only boss in Fushan High. Scar Bear laughed heartily. Do you think Nan Phylong will stick up for you? You bitch, do you know why Nan Phylong would help you? Because he's always wanted to fuck you, but you didn't let him, so he gave you to me. Do you really think you're friends with Nan Phylong? Ziyu's face was green. She didn't want to believe it, but Scar Bear's words had to be true. Scar Bear, I'm telling you, I won't follow you even if I die. You're disgusting. Ziyu gritted her teeth. Either you let me go, and we'll be fine, or I'll bring my men to fight you. Fuck. Scar Bear spat on the ground, cursing. Ying Ziyu, don't be so shameless. Fight. I'm telling you, after I kill all your men, I'll tie you up and get my brothers to gang rape you. You'll be treated differently then. You dare. Ziyu said. I'll kill you. Haha, come at me then. Let's see who kills who. Scar Bear waved his hand, signaling his men to get ready. Lin Yi honey, it's usually time for the master to show up at this point in a TV show. Aren't you going to show up? Xiao Xiao called out. Ha! Lin Yi smiled bitterly, speechless. What master? But Lin Yi couldn't just ignore this. Did he come at the right time? If he'd come a second later, Ziyu would have been killed already. Otherwise, he would have been gang raped. From the looks of it, Ziyu wasn't some random girl, or she wouldn't be this stubborn. This made Lin Yi feel a little better. Alright, this has nothing to do with you. Get the hell out of here. Lin Yi walked over and looked at Scar Bear before pointing at Ziyu. I have business with her. What? Scar Bear froze. Scar Bear's men froze. Even Ziyu and her underlings froze. They didn't think that someone would appear out of nowhere. Was this guy an idiot? How could he say something so stupid? Even Ziyu was wondering if there was something wrong with this guy's brain. Telling Scar Bear to fuck off. Ha 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 ha. Immediately, Scar Bear and his subordinates burst into laughter. They looked at Lin Yi as if they were looking at an idiot. Ignorance was bliss, after all. Kid, what did you just say? You're telling me to fuck off. Scar Bear dug his ear, acting like he didn't hear him clearly. He wasn't annoyed at all, looking at Lin Yi with interest as if he was looking at a dead man. As far as he was concerned, there was no need to get angry over an idiot like Lin Yi. Lin Yi was an idiot, and he could kill him anytime he wanted. Scar Bear wouldn't bother with an idiot. Yeah, I'm telling you to fuck off. Lin Yi looked at Scar Bear. Why aren't you leaving? Chapter 1260. My words don't work. Lin Yi looked up at Scar Bear and saw that he had no intention of leaving. He frowned. What's good about it? Are you retarded? If you're good then get the fuck out. Why are you still standing here? Me. Scar Bear looked like he heard the funniest joke in the world. He pointed at himself. In Songshan, there are people who dare to tell me to fuck off, but it's definitely not you. My words don't work. Lin Yi asked. You have some self-awareness. Scar Bear laughed when he heard Lin Yi. My words don't work. Then I won't say it. Lin Yi nodded. You shouldn't have said it. Who do you think you are, yelling in front of me, Scar Bear? Do you want to die? Scar Bear laughed coldly and said proudly, kneel down right now and crawl under my crotch, then I'll let this go. Lin Yi didn't wait for him to finish and slapped him on the face. Half of Scar Bear's face caved in. His teeth and cheekbones were probably all broken. Since words don't work, then I'll use force. Lin Yi slapped again and caved in the other half of Scar Bear's face. You, what are you doing? Let go of Brother Bear. Scar Bear's lackeys were confused by Lin Yi's actions. When they reacted, they pointed at Lin Yi and yelled. Lin Yi, however, didn't care about the lackeys behind Scar Bear at all. He kicked Scar Bear's crotch, and the sound of something shattering accompanied the pain. Scar Bear clutched his crotch with both hands as he fell to the ground, rolling around in pain. Can't you just fuck off yourself? You still want me to fuck off for you? Lin Yi shook his head and kicked Scar Bear again. Another crisp sound rang out. Scar Bear's leg was broken by Lin Yi's kick. The reason why Lin Yi did this to Scar Bear was because he wanted to do something to Ziyu. Since she was the pangolin's little sister, then Lin Yi treated her as his own sister. If someone wanted to harm her, then Lin Yi would naturally eliminate them. However, in public, it was not impossible for Lin Yi to kill Scar Bear, but it was possible for him to cripple him. As long as this kind of gangster didn't die, no one would have the nerve to call the police. Scar Bear's underlings were dumbfounded. They had seen ruthless characters, but they had never heard of someone as ruthless as Lin Yi. With just a few words, Lin Yi had broken both sides of Scar Bear's cheekbones. Not only did he turn into a eunuch, he even broke one of his legs. Just what kind of person was this? This brat looked very amiable, but he didn't expect that he would be so merciless when he attacked. You! Just who are you? How dare you hurt Brother Bear? Don't you know who our Brother Bear is working for? One of Scar Bear's lackeys questioned Lin Yi, but it was obvious that he was afraid of Lin Yi's ferocity as well. You want to stand up for him? Lin Yi looked at the underling. Aye. The underling looked at Lin Yi's cold eyes, and he was a little scared. If he said he wanted revenge for Scar Bear, wouldn't Lin Yi beat him up just like Scar Bear? And so, the underling wasn't stupid. After some hesitation, he waved his blade and yelled to the underlings behind him, "Everyone, attack. Kill this kid and get revenge for Brother Bear." Ouch! But the next moment, just as he finished speaking, there was a scream. The blade that was originally in his hand had somehow fallen into Lin Yi's hand and stabbed into his thigh. The underling was in so much pain that his eyes rolled back and he fainted on the ground. He was even more vulnerable than Scar Bear. Are you also here to avenge them? Lin Yi ignored the underling from before and looked up at the remaining people. No. No. The man closest to Lin Yi was scared out of his wits. He threw the blade in his hand to the ground. He was afraid that if he spoke too slowly, there would be 2 more holes in his thighs. The guy in front of him was obviously a violent madman. His speed was unbelievable. Before he could see what was going on, there were already 2 people lying on the ground. So, this person didn't have the intention to resist Lin Yi at all. He was afraid that Lin Yi would beat him up, so he quickly put down his weapon and surrendered. If there was 1, there would be 2. If there was 2, there would be 3. The people who originally wanted to fight with Lin Yi saw that their companions had surrendered. Who would be stupid enough to continue looking for trouble with Lin Yi? We don't have the intention to take revenge. We'll leave now. A few people near Lin Yi had already turned around and were ready to leave. Wait, carry these 2 pieces of trash away. Lin Yi pointed to Scar Bear and his underling on the ground. Although these people who were preparing to leave were afraid and unwilling to turn back, who knew what the consequences would be if they didn't go back? Fortunately, this person seemed to be reasonable. As long as they did what he said, then there shouldn't be any problems. So, the few people who left turned back, carried Scar Bear and his underling, and ran away dejectedly. In fact, these people only felt that they had lost face. As for whether or not they wanted to avenge Scar Bear and his subordinate who had his thigh slashed, that was secondary. These people were the lowest rung of society, and Scar Bear had just gotten his position, and it was Guang Bro who sent him over. Other than this underling who was his direct follower, the others were all sent by Guang Bro. All they wanted was to report this to Guang Bro as soon as possible. You're looking for me? Ziyu looked at Lin Yi oddly. This guy's methods were clearly very cruel, even more so than the gangsters she was working for. But the more it was like this, the more she couldn't figure out where Lin Yi was coming from. Was he here to help, or did he have some other purpose? As far as Ziyu was concerned, Lin Yi's arrival was too much of a coincidence. Scar Bear's men were here looking for trouble, and Lin Yi appeared and dealt with them. But Ziyu had never seen Lin Yi before, and she didn't know Lin Yi. She hadn't even heard of this person before. Ying Ziyu? Ziyu asked as Lin Yi studied the girl in front of him. You're looking for me? You don't know who I am? Ziyu was even more puzzled. Lin Yi didn't seem to know her, and wanted to confirm if she was Ziyu or not. I'm Ying Zijia's friend, Lin Yi said. Chapter 1261. Chapter 1259. Taking over your guardianship. Your brother went on a mission, it'll take a couple years, and he won't be back for a while. He gave you to me to discipline you for him, Lin Yi said with a frown as he looked at Ziyu's clothes. Tch. Why should I believe you? Discipline me for my brother? Ziyu found it funny and snorted. What right do you have to discipline me? My brother doesn't care about me. He's him, I'm me. Lin Yi reached out and tousled Ziyu's colorful hair. Dye it back to black, or I'll shave you bald. Ah. Don't touch my hair. My hairstyle. Ziyu screamed, glaring at Lin Yi. I'll kill you. Whatever, as long as you can beat me. Lin Yi ignored her, continuing to cause trouble for Ziyu. Don't wear those tights anymore, it'll affect your growth. Those boobs are so big, they're squeezed out, right? Throw that bra away, or it'll get deformed sooner or later. Ziyu was going crazy. She wanted to kill Lin Yi with one slash, but thinking back to how Lin Yi treated Scar Bear and his men, she was sure that if she attacked Lin Yi, she'd be the one getting beaten up. He was her brother's friend, and he wouldn't kill her, but it wouldn't be easy for him. Ziyu's men stared at each other, not daring to laugh. They'd seen Lin Yi's strength firsthand, so they didn't dare to say anything when Lin Yi insulted their boss. They knew that Ziyu had a very strong brother, a special ops soldier, very strong. He could tell just from Ziyu's kung fu alone. Otherwise, a woman like Ziyu wouldn't have this much prestige, becoming the big sister boss. Since Lin Yi was Ziyu's brother's friend, it made sense. No wonder he was so strong, he might even be a special ops soldier. I don't need you to care about me, who the hell knows you? Ziyu glared at Lin Yi, drawing a line between them. I was entrusted by your brother to take over your guardianship. It's compulsory, so you don't have the right to resist. Of course, I won't object if you want to resist, but I'm afraid you don't have the ability. Lin Yi could tell that a problem girl like Ziyu was the only way to deal with her. She wouldn't listen to a soft approach, and so, Lin Yi beating up Scar Bear and his men was the first step to showing his strength. After that, Lin Yi demanded Ziyu change this and that, using a commanding tone, not a negotiating tone. He didn't want Ziyu to bargain with him. Why should I believe you? Ziyu had pretty much confirmed Lin Yi's identity by now. She'd never mentioned her brother's name to anyone, and with Lin Yi's skills, he was probably her brother's comrade. Lin Yi took out his phone and logged into an encrypted photo album. He found a picture of himself, Armadillo, Yang Huaijuan, and the others. Lin Yi kept these pictures in his photo album, rarely touching them. But since he wanted Ziyu to believe him, he had to show her some evidence. This is a picture of me with your brother, 5 years ago. People like us don't take pictures often. Lin Yi lowered his voice so that only Ziyu could hear. This was taken at the end of the mission in North Africa. I was the captain, and your brother was my subordinate. Ziyu blinked. She didn't expect Lin Yi to be the captain. Didn't that mean he was even stronger than her brother? She took over Lin Yi's phone and looked at the picture. She had this picture too, it was always on her brother's table, so she wasn't unfamiliar with it. She just didn't pay attention to the other people in the picture. He held it in his hand and looked at it attentively. The person in the middle of the picture really did look like the Lin Yi in front of him, but a lot younger. A lot more childish. Ziyu paused. How old was Lin Yi 5 years ago? He didn't look older than 19 now. 5 years ago, wouldn't he be 13 or 14? Looking at the little boy Lin Yi in the picture, Ziyu couldn't help but smile. This is you. You're a little dumb. Ziyu looked at Lin Yi with a smile that wasn't a smile. Lin Yi didn't know what to say as he grabbed the phone. Alright, now that we've confirmed your identity, listen to me from now onwards. I'll take you to dye your hair and buy some clothes. From tomorrow on, study hard, and if you dare come out and act like a big sister again, I'll. Lin Yi frowned. He couldn't think of a way to punish Ziyu. Lin Yi didn't have any experience dealing with a girl at all. He turned around and looked at Xiao Xiao for help. If she doesn't listen, you're going to spank her, Xiao Xiao said. If you don't listen, I'll spank you. Lin Yi nodded and repeated it to Ziyu. He felt that Xiao Xiao's idea wasn't bad, But it wasn't very appropriate. He didn't know what was wrong, so he didn't think too much about it. Ziyu's eyes went wide. Spank my butt. Ever since she was young, no one had ever spanked her, not even her eldest brother. Where did this inexplicable big brother's captain come from? He actually wanted to spank him? Didn't he know that men and women shouldn't touch? All of a sudden, Ziyu felt like she was going crazy, but thinking back to Lin Yi's merciless orders, Ziyu felt that Lin Yi really might spank her. You! Don't you dare! Ziyu glared at Xiao Xiao. Where did this girl come from? Coming out with such a dirty move? Why didn't he spank her? Ziyu didn't know that Xiao Xiao wasn't being spanked by Lin Yi, but by firecrackers. She was in an even worse state. You'll find out if you try. Lin Yi grabbed Ziyu by the collar like he was grabbing a little chick before looking at the students behind her. All right, disperse. You're so young, yet you're still trying to act like a big brother in the underworld. Go back to your studies. Ziyu's lackeys didn't dare say anything as they watched their big sis get grabbed. This guy was a cruel psychopath. Just one word and he'd start a fight. Didn't they see how arrogant Scarbear was? He was beaten to the point that he didn't even look human. He probably wouldn't be able to get out of bed for at least a year or two. And these people were just students naturally, they weren't as cruel as Scarbear. Even Scarbear's lackeys ran away. How could they go against Lin Yi? Chapter 1262. It was this pretty boy. This area belonged to the North District, and Scarbear was someone Guangbro had just helped get to his position. Now that he was crippled, it'd be weird if Guangbro didn't bring his men to take revenge. Ziyu didn't want to be controlled by Lin Yi, but she didn't want anything to happen to her men. She thought of a good idea. Nan Feilong was unreliable now, and if she wanted to survive in Fushan, she had to get rid of Guangbro. No matter how powerful Fushan Middle School was, it was nothing compared to Guangji, who was in the underworld. I can go with you, but the trouble you've caused isn't over yet. Those people are going to call for reinforcements, and Guangbro will come looking for trouble later. I can't just leave my men here. Of course, if you can take care of Guangbro, I'll go with you, Ziyu said as she broke free from Lin Yi's grip. Ha! What Guangbro? But that's fine, we'll wait. Lin Yi didn't care about this Guangbro at all. In Songshan, Lin Yi could even beat up Chibing and Sihua. What was Guangbro to him? You're a secret agent, but let me tell you, no matter how strong you are, you can't beat a group of people. They have guns. Ziyu reminded him kind-heartedly. This guy was annoying and a busybody, but Ziyu didn't want him to die just like that. You don't have to worry about that. Lin Yi said faintly. At this time, on the other side of the school field, a group of people surrounded a young man in a black trench coat and walked over here. Ziyu sis, it's Long Bro. One of Ziyu's lackeys said quickly. Ziyu's eyes darkened. Nan Feilong, that two-faced bastard. Scarbear had left, but he had come. Ying Ziyu, you didn't expect this, did you? You managed to get reinforcements. Nan Feilong spoke in a strange tone even before he got close. It was obvious that he was well informed. News of Lin Yi teaching Scarbear a lesson had already reached his ears. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said such things. Nan Feilong, if you're not going to help me, can't I find someone else? Ziyu puffed her chest out. For the first time, she felt that Lin Yi's appearance was a good thing. She could deal a blow to Feilong. Bitch, looks like you've already hooked up with someone else. A ruthless glint flashed across Nan Feilong's eyes. He lifted his head and looked at Lin Yi. Pretty boy, you're finished. You hit Scarbear, and Brother Guang is rushing over with his men. You're dead meat today. Ying Ziyu, who's this idiot? Lin Yi had clearly heard Ziyu call him Feilong, but he still repeated it. Evidently, Lin Yi didn't care about Feilong at all. It's summer, and you're still wearing a windbreaker? Isn't he afraid of getting heat rash? Phut. Ziyu couldn't help but chuckle. That was quite a sarcastic thing to say, but it made sense. This Feilong was always trying to act cool, thinking that he was Shu Wenqiang just by wearing a trench coat, walking around the school like he was Shu Wenqiang. She didn't think much of it before, but Feilong's betrayal today made Ziyu feel like this guy had a pointy mouth and cheeks, and he looked like an extra in a TV show. It was quite comical. Fuck. Pretty boy, You don't need to be cocky. Guang Bro will be here soon, and you'll die then. Fai Long hemphed coldly. He didn't want to argue with Lin Yi. After all, he'd heard of Lin Yi's strength, and he knew that he wasn't a match for Lin Yi. He chose to endure it for now, waiting for Guang Bro to come, and then Lin Yi would be a dead dog. I was going to wait for him even if you didn't say anything. Lin Yi looked at Fai Long. This idiot was on Lin Yi's list of people he needed to get rid of. He heard Scar Bear say that this guy liked Ziyu. He'd make him a eunuch, too. He wasn't a good guy anyway. A mocking smile appeared on Fei Long's lips. As far as he was concerned, Lin Yi didn't know the difference between heaven and earth. Guang Bro was a man with a gun, and no matter how strong Lin Yi was, he'd still be dead in front of a gun. Lin Yi honey, this guy's so annoying. He doesn't look like a good guy, why don't you take care of him? Xiao Xiao pointed at Fai Long. Oh, I'll let that Guang Bro take care of him later. Lin Yi nodded. Ziyu's mouth twitched. This girl beside Lin Yi was pretty fierce, wasn't she? You can kill whoever you want. She wasn't a secret agent, was she? Fei Long's face was full of disdain. He didn't think that Lin Yi could do anything in front of Guang Bro at all. One had to know that Guang Bro was the boss of the North District, someone who could shake up Songshan with a stomp of his foot. A minibus rushed toward Fushan Middle School, and Fai Long Nan's eyes flashed with a trace of joy. The minibus stopped at the entrance of Fushan Middle School. Once the door opened, more than 30 youths jumped out. Each of them was much more mature and ruthless than the people Scar Bear had brought. These people were probably real gang members, probably the backbone of Brother Guang's underlings. He had brought all of them in order to keep up appearances. What's going on? Who beat up Scar Bear? Who dares to cause trouble in Guang Bro's territory? Do they want to die? A blonde-haired youth walked over with a bunch of bulky men. Fei Long's eyes lit up when he saw Guang Bro. He sprinted towards Guang Bro. In his heart, he had his own plans. It seemed like Scar Bear wouldn't be able to get out of the hospital for at least a year or two, but the North District's Fushan High area needed a new boss. And so Fai Long saw an opportunity. If he grasped this opportunity well, then he might very well become the boss of Fushan High. Among all the forces around Fushan Middle School, he was the most powerful, and so Fai Long was very attentive, running up to Guang Bro as soon as he arrived. Guang Bro. It's this pretty boy. It's that Ying Ziyu, that bitch, got her help. Fai Long was a cunning man, immediately identifying Lin Yi as Ziyu's lover. This way, Ziyu would be a piece of trash, and Guang Bro wouldn't be interested in her. Once Lin Yi died, wouldn't Ziyu be his plaything? Chapter 1263. Chapter 1261. Help me watch her what? Guang Bro, who was surrounded by people, froze when he saw Lin Yi standing beside Ziyu. Lin Yi. Why was it Lin Yi? Guang Bro wanted to die. Yes, he really wanted to die. If he knew that Lin Yi was here, he wouldn't have come. He wouldn't have come even if he had to give up the entire North District, let alone Fushan Middle School. This Guang Bro was, naturally, the boss of the North District, Zhu Ruoguang. At this moment, his expression was very interesting and very unsightly. Zhu Ruoguang knew very well what happened to Jinying Jun. So what if Ma Zhu was strong? Didn't he get crippled by Hayoshi Lin? Hayoshi Lin was fine, and he was still alive and kicking. He heard that Ma Zhu's Shifu was coming down the mountain, and Zhu Ruoguang didn't think much of it. So what if it was his Shifu? In front of the omnipotent Hayoshi Lin, his Shifu was just a piece of trash. Motherfucker! Zhu Ruoguang was so angry that he slapped Fai Long Nan's face. A crisp slap sounded, stunning Fai Long and his men. Even most of Zhu Ruoguang's men were stunned. Only a small portion of Zhu Ruoguang's men had seen Lin Yi before, and they knew that Lin Yi was a ruthless man. They understood why Zhu Ruoguang would go crazy and beat up Fai Long. Guang Bro. Fai Long was stunned and didn't know what to do. He covered his mouth and mumbled, Guang Bro, it wasn't me, it was that pretty boy, he was the one who beat Scar Bear, not me. You hit the wrong person. He did a good job. He did a good job. Zhu Ruoguang was shocked and quickly said, I'm hitting you. I didn't hit the wrong person. Even Ziyu and her men were dumbfounded. What was wrong with this Guang Bro? Did he just slap Nan Filong? Had Brother Guang gone mad? But no matter what, Ying Ziyu and her men were happy that Filong was beaten up. Ah! Filong was even more dumbfounded. I didn't make a mistake. Then why did Brother Guang hit him? Kill this brat for me. Beat them to death. Zhu Ruoguang pointed at the wyvern and ordered his men. Nan Filong was definitely an enemy of Lin Yi's faction. In that case, Hayoshi Lin didn't even need to do anything. He would deal with him himself. Yes. Although many of Zhu Ruoguang's men didn't understand what was going on, since their boss had spoken, then they would fight. Thus, Nan Filong was surrounded and howled like a ghost. Zhu Ruoguang's men, on the other hand, were all experienced fighters. They could make people feel pain without causing any injuries. Guang Bro only said to beat him to death, not kill him directly. So these people didn't dare go all out. You, come here. Lin Yi waved at Zhu Ruoguang. Zhu Ruoguang jumped in fright. He looked like he was in pain, but he didn't dare disobey Lin Yi's words. He could only carefully walk over to Lin Yi. Hayoshi Lin, you're here. Look, in the North District, there are still some troublemakers causing trouble in front of Hayoshi Lin. It's all my fault. I'm sorry. Zhu Ruoguang's attitude was very low. Zhu Ruoguang knew very well what kind of person Lin Yi was. If Lin Yi wanted to mess with you, he didn't even need to kill you, he'd make you wish you were dead. Ziyu's eyes widened in disbelief. Why was the boss of the North District, Guang Bro, acting like this in front of Lin Yi? Did he get beaten up by Lin Yi as well? Don't talk like that. Lin Yi frowned. No need to explain, I'm not going to do anything to you. Since you're here, I have something to tell you. Hayoshi Lin, just say the word. Don't worry, I'll get it done. Zhu Ruoguang patted his chest and promised that Lin Yi was looking for him. This was a great chance to repair his relationship with Lin Yi. He'd be an idiot if he didn't take this opportunity. That Nan Filong, just cripple him, no need to kill him. Lin Yi pointed at Zhu Ruoguang's men, who were beating the crap out of Filong. Zhu Ruoguang was just a gangster, after all, and he'd probably be held responsible for killing someone in public. Lin Yi didn't want to hurt him. Yes. Zhu Ruoguang nodded and turned to his men. Did you hear that? Hayoshi Lin told you to cripple that Nan Filong. Kick him in the crotch. Nan Filong's underling hurriedly responded, and Nan Filong squealed like a pig being slaughtered. Ziyu's mouth twitched once more. This Lin Yi was really cruel, wasn't he? But the weird thing was, how did he order Zhu Ruoguang around? Hayoshi Lin, is there anything else you need me to do? Zhu Ruoguang asked curiously. If it was just crippling Nan Filong, Lin Yi could do it too. It was such a simple thing, just like crippling Scar Bear. Lin Yi did it so easily. Yes, there's more. Lin Yi grabbed Ziyu's collar and pulled her in front of him, turning to Zhu Ruoguang. Do you know her? Yes, Ying Ziyu, Fushan High School, the big sister of the third gang. Zhu Ruoguang didn't know what Lin Yi was talking about, but Lin Yi seemed to be a little close with Ziyu. So, in this uncertain situation, Zhu Ruoguang introduced Ziyu without any emotions. Zhu Ruoguang, of course, knew Ziyu. He'd been drooling over her before, but thinking about it, a delinquent girl like her had probably been fucked countless times already. Zhu Ruoguang wasn't that interested anymore. Yes, good. She's my sister now, I need her to study hard. Keep an eye on her, call me immediately if she's messing around in society again. Lin Yi ordered. No problem. Zhu Ruoguang was thankful that he hadn't played with Ziyu before, or he'd probably be kicked into a eunuch by Lin Yi today. Wiping his sweat, Zhu Ruoguang ignored Ziyu's murderous glare. No problem, leave it to me. Leave it to me from now on. In the North District, I'm the most well-informed. Don't worry, Hayoshi Lin, I'll make sure Miss Ziyu studies hard every day. Otherwise, I'll be the one to blame. Zhu Ruoguang was overjoyed. Being able to do something for Lin Yi was a great thing. He was worried that he wouldn't be able to get close to Lin Yi, but now that he was doing things for Lin Yi, House Zhu would be Lin Yi's dog in name. Lin Yi wouldn't attack his own people, would he? Chapter 1264. Chapter 1262. Can't fight back. You're the boss of the North District, why are you acting like a dog? Ziyu looked at Zhu Ruoguang, a little disgusted. She used to worship him, thinking that he had to be something to be able to become the boss of the North District at such a young age. She didn't expect him to be a bootlicker, and hearing him promise to Lin Yi that he'd keep an eye on her and not let her go out, that pissed her off even more. She couldn't help but mock him. With Lin Yi here, she wasn't afraid. If it were before, Ziyu wouldn't have a good ending if she said something like that to Zhu Ruoguang, but now, Zhu Ruoguang didn't care at all. He turned around with a grin. Miss Ziyu, don't blame me, it's hard for me too. You're Hayoshi Lin's godsister, but I still have to listen to Hayoshi Lin, don't I? Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. Ziyu looked at Zhu Ruoguang's fawning face and felt a chill. This guy was hopeless. Whatever, you're a bully. Ziyu grabbed Lin Yi's arm and bit down. Lin Yi wasn't expecting this, so he wasn't prepared. But Lin Yi dodged it if he wanted to, and with a flick of his hand, Ziyu was thrown 3 feet away, landing stably on the ground. Ziyu was even angrier that she didn't get to bite Lin Yi. You need a beating, huh? Lin Yi looked at her. Don't try anything funny, come dye your hair with me. Ziyu's underlings understood the situation as well. The power structure of Fushan High was about to change. Feilong was crippled, and he'd probably disappear from Fushan High. Ziyu, on the other hand, was forcefully taken away by a brother to study. Most importantly, this brother of his was very powerful. Not only was he good at fighting, but even the boss of the North, Zhu Ruoguang, had to bow and scrape in front of him. In this way, only the second strongest faction was left. Who would have thought that second bro would take advantage of it? But they knew that they couldn't follow Ziyu anymore. Even if they wanted to, Lin Yi wouldn't let them. They'd die a horrible death. Lin Yi took Ziyu and nodded to Zhu Ruoguang before leaving with Xiao Xiao. Zhu Ruoguang saw Lin Yi off respectfully and said, Hayoshi Lin, take care. Don't flatter me. Remember what I said. Lin Yi said faintly, however, if someone bullies her, I will settle the score with you. No. Zhu Ruoguang said quickly, Miss Ziyu is Hayoshi Lin's sister, that means she's my miss. Miss Ziyu, I'll protect you from now on. Ziyu almost burst out laughing at Zhu Ruoguang's word. But a sense of accomplishment that she'd never felt before filled her heart. In the past, Ziyu dreamed of being able to unify the underworld of Songshan, and have the bosses of all the districts bow down to her. But she knew that it was just a dream. Women in the underworld were born weak, and they couldn't go too far. But today, Ziyu finally got to enjoy that kind of treatment. Seeing how respectful Zhu Ruoguang was to Lin Yi, Ziyu realized that her dream was being fulfilled in another way. She wondered when the big boss of Songshan would start praising her like this. What are your eyes rolling around for? What are you thinking of now? I'm telling you, study hard from tomorrow onwards. I'll get someone to test you regularly, and if you can't pass, I'll spank your ass 100 times. Lin Yi glared at her. Lin Yi didn't care about Ziyu at all. In Lin Yi's eyes, she was just a kid, and so Lin Yi really treated her like a sister. No. Nothing. Ziyu tried asking, then you won't be able to stop me if I go with Zihua, right? You can try. If he dares to take you in, I'll burn down his floating cloud bar. Lin Yi frowned as he said faintly. Oh. Ziyu wasn't disappointed at all. She was actually excited. Lin Yi wasn't scared of Zihua. Her brother seemed to be pretty strong as a captain. She'd have a bright future if she followed him, right? But he didn't seem to be a gangster. Zhu Ruoguang called him Hayoshi Lin. What did Hayoshi Lin mean? Was he some sort of shaman? No way. Did my brother really ask you to take care of me? Ziyu calmed down after getting in the taxi. She knew she couldn't fight back, and she could only accept her fate. Yeah, Lin Yi nodded. Thinking of Armadillo, Lin Yi felt a little gloomy. My brother. Where is he now? Why isn't he back? Ziyu asked. He's on a special mission, and he might not be back for a long time. Your brother told me that you're about to take your high school entrance exams, and he told me to come see you and make sure you study. Lin Yi said. Oh. I haven't seen my brother in a long time. Ziyu sighed. Do you think someone like me can get into high school? You can start studying tomorrow. Lin Yi said faintly. You'll still have a future in the underworld, right? Ziyu asked carefully. Bullshit. Look at what happened to Zhu Ruoguang. It'd be easier than stepping on an ant if I wanted to kick him to death. Lin Yi sighed. Ziyu was at the rebellious stage of adolescence, and it was the most serious. Kids at this stage were impulsive, violent, and loved excitement. In their eyes, the big bosses of the underworld were powerful beings, and Ziyu was just like that. But Lin Yi had to give her a proper outlook on life, telling her that Zhu Ruoguang had no future, and even Cihua had no future. Then what do you do? Ziyu asked. I used to be your brother's colleague, but I'm a student now. Lin Yi didn't hide it. Ziyu would find out sooner or later. Student. Ziyu paused, looking at Lin Yi oddly. You're a student? Yeah, Songshan's first school. I came back to study. Lin Yi said. Why are you asking so many questions? Mind your own business first. Ziyu pouted, resisting Lin Yi's violent upbringing a little, but there was nothing she could do. What could she use to go against him? Even people she thought were powerful had to bow and scrape in front of him. Ziyu didn't think she could win against Lin Yi in an argument. The key was that Lin Yi didn't seem to know how to be gentle with her at all, treating her like a child. Ziyu had no way of dealing with this. Chapter 1265. Encountering Cihua. There's a barbershop up ahead, sir. Let's park there. Lin Yi pointed at a small barbershop not far away. He turned to Ziyu. Let's do it here. I'll take you to get your hair dyed. No, it's too low class here. Ziyu shook her head. Low class? As long as you can dye your hair, what's the point? Lin Yi frowned, unhappy with Ziyu's luxurious lifestyle. But thinking about Armadillo's income, her family shouldn't be lacking money. Low-class hair dyes can cause cancer. Ziyu pouted. Is that so? Lin Yi turned to Xiao Xiao. Yeah, that's true. But once or twice shouldn't be a problem. Xiao Xiao nodded. If it's that easy, then forget it. Let's go to a high-class one. Lin Yi said to the driver, Sir, let's go to the highest-class hair salon. All right. The driver nodded. They knew all the high-class entertainment places in Songshan like the back of their palms, including hair salons. Soon, the car stopped in front of a very luxurious salon. One could tell from the number of luxury cars parked outside that the customers here were all rich. It wasn't common to see people like Lin Yi coming in a taxi, so the security at the door paused when he saw Lin Yi and the others get out of the taxi. But the security here was very highly trained, and they wouldn't discriminate against customers. Lin Yi and the others walked over, and the security greeted them respectfully before ushering Lin Yi and the others into the salon. Sir, are you looking for a hair salon? A waitress walked over with a smile. Yeah, I'll dye her hair. Lin Yi brought Ziyun in front of the waitress. Dye her hair black. Sir, do you have an appointment? The waiter thought to himself. The little girl must have dyed her hair behind her family's back and was discovered by her elder brother. No, do I need to make an appointment? Lin Yi was slightly surprised. If you don't have a reservation, you can only wait in line. There are still a few customers in front of you, the waiter explained. I see. Lin Yi nodded. He raised his head and looked around the salon. What Lin Yi didn't expect was that this place also belonged to Pengzhan Industries. In the salon's lobby, Lin Yi saw Pengzhan Industries logo. From the looks of it, Pengzhan was involved in quite a number of industries. No wonder so many people were after his company's assets. But since it was Pengzhan's company, Lin Yi didn't need to be courteous. Putting aside the fact that Lin Yi was a shareholder of Pengzhan Industries, Lin Yi's relationship with Pengzhan and the miss meant that he didn't need to be courteous. Lin Yi took out his diamond membership card and passed it to the waitress. I have a membership card. The waitress took the card from Lin Yi and was shocked when she saw the level on it. Why didn't you take it out earlier if you had a membership card? Was this his first time here? Sir, you are a diamond VIP. You don't need to line up. You can go to the VIP room upstairs. Although the waiter muttered in his heart, he was respectful on the surface. But the diamond VIP room is already used. Can only the ordinary VIP room be used? After all, Pengzhan Industries didn't give out many diamond membership cards, and they were only given to people with connections. As a company under Pengzhan Industries, one diamond VIP room was usually enough. It wasn't possible for all the Diamond VIP members to come at the same time. But today was an accident. There was a VIP in the Diamond VIP room, trying on her hair and makeup. So, Lin Yi had to go to the normal VIP room first. They couldn't kick the Diamond VIP out, could they? Plus, the Diamond VIP was a very important person. Sure, let's go then. Luckily, Lin Yi didn't care about that at all. He took out the card because he didn't want to wait and wanted to do Ziyu's hair as soon as possible. The VIP lounge and the Diamond VIP lounge were both located on the top floor of the salon. The Diamond VIP lounge was a separate room, while the VIP lounge was a large room. The difference in service between the two was not big, but the environment was slightly different. Ziyu had always wanted to go to a better salon, but she'd never been to a place this good before. She'd only go to the middle-class ones, and this was her first time here. Her eyes kept looking around, feeling that this place was really high class. But when Ziyu was looking around, she saw someone she used to worship a lot. Zihua was sitting in the corner of the VIP room. He was probably waiting for someone, or doing something. When Ziyu saw him, Lin Yi saw him as well. Lin Yi wasn't surprised that Zihua was here. Peng Zhan was the boss of Songshan's underworld, and it was understandable that he had a Diamond VIP card. But with his relationship with Chibing, who would believe that Zihua would come to Peng Zhan Industries' business just because he had nothing better to do? There had to be something going on. Lin Yi was right, Zihua really did have something going on here. Xu Shahan was trying on her hair and makeup here, and Chibing was drooling over her. He sent Zihua to find out where she was, to see if she'd come back to him for treatment. Zihua had no choice but to become the paparazzi here. Isn't this Zihua, bro? Lin Yi turned his head, a mocking smile on his face. When are you going to pay me back the money you owe me? Ahem. Zihua coughed twice, his face a little ugly. There was nothing he could do to Lin Yi. He didn't dare piss him off, and he didn't dare scold him. Wasn't Haozu the perfect example? See? If you don't study hard, you'll end up like that idiot Zihua, going around in debt. Look at how pitiful he'll be. Even in the VIP room, he'll have to find a corner to sit. Lin Yi pointed at Zihua and called out to Ziyu. Ha! Ziyu didn't think that what Lin Yi said was true. This Zihua was like a punching bag in front of Lin Yi, smiling bitterly even when Lin Yi was mocking him like that. Man, image. In Ziyu's heart, Zihua's big bro image had completely crumbled. Why were these people all so weak? Not a single one of them worked hard. Chapter 1266. Wait for someone. Wait for someone. Zihua shivered when he saw Lin Yi's hand reach into his pocket. This guy wasn't playing with needles again, was he? His brother was a sponge now, full of holes, and someone as strong as Yarawang was now an antenna. Zihua didn't dare act rashly in front of Lin Yi. Wait for someone? Who? Lin Yi asked. The people in the diamond room. Zihua was troubled, but he had to answer Lin Yi's question. Oh, keep waiting then. Since they were waiting for someone, Lin Yi naturally lost interest. It was fine as long as they weren't here to cause trouble. Lin Yi let Zihua go and found a waitress, telling her that Ziyu wanted to dye her hair back to black. And so, under Ziyu's unwillingness, the waiter started applying the ointment on her hair. Miss Ying, your skin color is actually very pretty when you're yellow before, but if you dye it back to black, there's nothing special about it anymore. I suggest you dye it blue and black. You look pretty under the sun. The hairdresser suggested. My words don't count. My guardian won't let me. Ziyu was troubled, and didn't call Lin Yi big bro anymore. She just called him guardian. The hairdresser couldn't help but chuckle and shake his head, continuing to dye Ziyu's hair. This sister of yours is quite cute. Xiao Xiao sat beside Lin Yi, and Lin Yi sat not far from Zihua, waiting for Ziyu. Zihua, on the other hand, felt like he was sitting on pins and needles. After a while, he felt uncomfortable and went downstairs, planning to wait for Xu Shahan in the car. Seeing Lin Yi reminded him of his brother and Yarawang, and he didn't want that to happen to him. It's alright, just a little kid. Didn't think that a bad example like Zihua would be here. Saves me the trouble. Lin Yi smiled. Wasn't I the same as her before? Xiao Xiao looked at Ziyu and thought of her old self. Your situation is different from hers. You have a problem with your body, which led to your extreme personality, but she's different. She worships violent things from the bottom of her heart. If she sees the nature of violence clearly, I believe she won't do it again, Lin Yi said. Let's hope so. Do you think she can get into high school? Xiao Xiao asked. Whether she gets in or not, it's fine as long as she works hard. When the time comes, she will still go to first high school. Lin Yi smiled and said, it's just to give her some pressure. Pressure is good. Only with pressure can you improve. Xiao Xiao nodded. You're under a lot of pressure right now, right? Oh. Why do you say that? Lin Yi was slightly startled. Because of me. You don't have to feel so pressured if you want to find a way to cure me. Life and death are up to the heavens. I don't want to leave you guys right now, but I've thought it through. It's fine, I'm already very happy, Xiao Xiao said. Don't think so much, there'll always be a way. Lin Yi didn't say much on this topic. 1. He didn't want Xiao Xiao to be sad, and 2. Lin Yi didn't have a good idea yet. Ziyu's hair was dyed black. It wasn't obvious after washing it, but it would turn black after a few more washes. Are you happy now? Ziyu looked at herself in the mirror. She looked a lot more innocent now, and her hairstyle was fixed up too. She had the youthful shoulder-length hair of a schoolgirl, and it didn't match the tight clothes she was wearing at all. You're starting to look like a schoolgirl now. Let's go buy some clothes. Lin Yi grabbed Ziyu and walked out. Don't carry me, I can walk myself. Ziyu felt a little embarrassed, being carried around like a little chick. This guy really thought she was a little girl. She was 16, and she knew everything. When Lin Yi got downstairs, Zihua wasn't gone yet. The car was still in the parking lot, but Lin Yi ignored him and took Ziyu to a clothing store. They didn't go to expensive brand name stores, just a few casual sportswear stores. They bought some clothes that schoolgirls usually wore, and had Xiao Xiao go to the changing room to force Ziyu to change into them. Ziyu, who came out of the changing room, was no longer the gangster girl from before. She looked like a girl next door, young and cute. Her eyes were bright, and she didn't have any makeup on her face, looking much more natural. Most importantly, her breasts weren't as big as before. That's more like it. Lin Yi nodded, satisfied. You're still acting like a schoolgirl, but if you keep squeezing your breasts that big, I'll cut them off for you. Ziyu's face turned red from Lin Yi's scolding. She glared at Lin Yi, wanting to bite him to death. Go to the bookstore now and buy a few exercise books. Read them from top to bottom when you get back, and I'll do a spot check next week. If you get more than 5 questions wrong, I'll smack your butt. Lin Yi threatened. Ziyu was speechless. Her basics were bad, and when had she ever learned anything? Now that Lin Yi wanted her to do exercise books, wasn't that like killing her? But there was nothing she could do to a tyrant like Lin Yi. Guang Bro and Sihua Bro were nothing in front of Lin Yi. They were more punching bags than punching bags. Ziyu's temper was gone, and she didn't doubt that she'd get a spanking if she went against Lin Yi. After buying the clothes, Lin Yi brought Ziyu to the bookstore like a parent, buying her a bunch of revision materials. Ziyu's face was like a bitter gourd, but she didn't dare say anything against it. She could only accept it angrily. When the 3 of them took a taxi back to Fushan Middle School, the power structure of Fushan Middle School had been settled. Under Zhu Ruoguang's instructions, Brother He, who used to be the 2nd largest gang in Fushan Middle School, became the sole boss of Fushan Middle School and was directly under Zhu Ruoguang's jurisdiction. Of course, while He Bro was happy for himself, he was troubled as well. He'd gotten Zhu Ruoguang's permission, and other than him, there was another miss in the school, Ying Ziyu. He didn't know how she got to know this Hayoshi Lin all of a sudden, but if even Guang Bro called her an old servant, then she definitely wasn't a simple person. He Bro was even more scared, afraid that he'd get into trouble if he didn't serve her well. He knew what happened to Scar Bear and Nan Filong, and he didn't want to end up like them. So, as the boss in name, he could only wait at the school gates like a servant. Chapter 1267. Chapter 1265, Acquaintances in School. He knew what happened to Scar Bear and Nan Filong, and he didn't want to end up like them. As the boss in name, He Bro had no choice but to become a servant at the school gate. But it was okay. Other than serving Ziyu, the Grand Miss, all the power in the school belonged to him. It was much stronger than before. Seeing the young girl get off the taxi, Heibro found it hard to connect her with big sis Ying Ziyu. Was this Ying Ziyu? Was Ziyu that cute? She was sexy, but this was the first time Heibro thought that she was cute. But even if she was cute, that was fine. Ziyu was being held by the neck by a man who didn't even look that old, and he was walking towards the school. But Heibro wasn't stupid. He remembered what Guangbro said earlier. This man was Hayoshi Lin, without a doubt. At the thought, Heibro quickly ran over, very respectful. Miss Ziyu, welcome back to school. This must be Hayoshi Lin, right? I've been waiting for you for a long time. You. What did you say? Lin Yi was confused. Who are you? I'm Lil Hei, the new boss of Fushan School that Guangbro promoted. Of course, in front of you too, I'm just a little servant. Guangbro told me that I'll watch Miss Ziyu's studies, protect her, and not let anyone bully her. Please don't worry, Hayoshi Lin. Heibro patted his chest. Alright, go away. It's none of your business. Lin Yi waved his hand, indicating that Heibro could go play somewhere else. Yes. Heibro nodded. Just as Lin Yi was about to bring Ziyu into the school, a familiar voice called out to him. Lin Yi bro, xiao xiao sis, it's really you guys. Chen Shi ran over happily. I thought it looked like you guys, but it really is you guys. Why are you guys here? Are you here to see me? Chen Shi, you study here too? Lin Yi was a little surprised. He didn't think that a girl like Chen Shi would go to such a chaotic school. Yeah. Chen Shi nodded when her eyes landed on Ziyu's face in front of Lin Yi. She covered her mouth and pointed at Lin Yi in disbelief. You're Ziyu sis. Ziyu lowered her head when she saw Chen Shi running over. She really didn't want Chen Shi to see her like this, but Chen Shi still recognized her. Oh, you know Ziyu? Lin Yi was curious. It seemed like the two were quite close. Yeah, Ziyu sis always takes care of me in school. Chen Shi nodded. She wasn't really that close with Ziyu. After all, Chen Shi was a good girl, and Ziyu was a big sis. But they were in the same class. One time, Chen Shi was being harassed by a few boys, and Ziyu couldn't stand it anymore. She taught them a lesson, and after that, Ziyu announced that Chen Shi was her sister, someone she would protect, and no one dared to bully Chen Shi anymore. The knife in Ziyu's hand was no joke. No one dared to provoke her. Chen Shi was pretty, but so was Ziyu. No one would do that. Oh, that's perfect. From today on, Ziyu's going to study hard. Chen Shi, since you're classmates with her, you should help her with her studies. I bought a bunch of revision materials for her. You guys can read them together. Lin Yi knew Chen Shi's family situation. She probably couldn't afford studying materials normally, or she wouldn't be able to stay in a school like this without spending money. And so, Chen Shi could read with Ziyu, and Ziyu could help Chen Shi with the things she didn't know. Yeah, okay. Chen Shi was very happy. She was grateful to Ziyu for taking care of her, but she also wanted Ziyu to focus on her studies. As far as she was concerned, Ziyu wasn't dumb. She was smart, and if she focused on her studies, she wouldn't be any worse than her. Man, I'll be counting on you from now on. Ziyu stopped pretending now that she was recognized. Chen Shi was going to find out sooner or later, and with her help, she might be able to learn faster. Chen Shi was the first in the school. How's your mom? Xiao Xiao turned to Chen Shi. She's all right. Ever since she drank the medicine Lin Yi bro gave her, she's gotten a lot better. Chen Shi nodded happily. I'm so lucky, meeting Ziyu sis in school, and meeting Lin Yi bro and Xiao Xiao sis outside. Yeah, alright, I'll go get some medicine for you later, and I'll go see your mom at home. Lin Yi didn't actually need to go to Chen Shi's house. Lin Yi knew Chen Shi's mom's condition like the back of his hand. Even if he didn't go, Lin Yi would be able to find the right medicine. But Lin Yi was a little curious about that Grandpa Ju. This guy was clearly a mystic late-phase peak, so why was he picking up trash beside a little girl? Lin Yi followed Ziyu and Chen Shi to their classroom. The students had all heard about Lin Yi's exploits outside the school. There were no secrets in the school, and everyone was very respectful of Lin Yi. Even if Ziyu wasn't the big sister anymore, They were more afraid of her than when she was the big sister. With such a strong brother, she could do whatever she wanted in the school. Even Guang Bro and Hey Bro were very respectful to her, let alone normal students. Now that Chen Shi and Lin Yi were very close, the students all regretted it. They didn't offend Chen Shi because of Ziyu, but they still looked down on her for studying so hard every day. But from today onwards, no one dared to look down on her. "This is your class, why is it so messy?" Lin Yi frowned as he looked at the weirdly dressed students in the classroom. Some were playing poker, some were playing video games, and there were even couples hugging and kissing each other. Lin Yi frowned. How old was she? And she was already dating? And touching each other? How could Chen Shi study properly in this kind of environment? Every class is like this, you just have to get used to it. Chen Shi didn't think much of it. Chapter 1268. Chapter 1266. Weird Uncle Lin Yiziu stuck her tongue out, not daring to say anything. She really was a bit scared of Lin Yi. Lin Yi walked up to the podium and knocked on it with the eraser. The chaotic classroom quieted down immediately. These people all knew who Lin Yi was. Even the boss of the North District, Guang Bro, called himself an old slave. What kind of person was he? Listen up, all of you. From tomorrow onwards, if you want to come to school, go back to your normal clothes. The guys are not allowed to go topless, and the girls are not allowed to show their thighs or breasts. Dye your hair back to black, and study in class. If you don't want to come to school, you can leave now. Lin Yi's voice was calm, but there was an indescribable power in it. I've said what I have to say. If anyone disobeys, you'll have to bear the consequences. The students in the classroom were in pain, but there was nothing they could do about it. Under Lin Yi's pressure, they could only hold their noses and accept it. When Lin Yi brought Ziyu back to school, it was almost time for school to end. Not long after, the bell rang in the hallway, and the students started packing their bags. "There's no teacher?" Lin Yi asked curiously. "The teachers come in the morning, and they usually have self-study in the afternoon." Chen Shi said. "Everyone doesn't like to study, and they won't listen when the teachers come. There's nothing we can do about it." Lin Yi nodded helplessly. Chen Shi was right, this was how the school was. It was a problem from top to bottom, and it wasn't something that could be changed easily. This was something the headmaster should worry about, and Lin Yi couldn't be bothered. He brought Ziyu and Chen Shi out of the school with Xiao Xiao. They got a taxi and sent Ziyu home, getting her to know the place so that Lin Yi could catch her whenever he wanted. Ziyu's neighborhood wasn't that high class, just a normal old neighborhood. It seemed that Lin Yi was right, she didn't have much money on her. Armadillo had left her some, but it had been so many years, and she'd probably spent most of it. "Do you have enough money?" Lin Yi looked around the place, feeling that it was clean and tidy. He nodded. It seemed that Ziyu wasn't a sloppy girl, and Lin Yi didn't find anything bad in her house. Although Lin Yi's attack counted as a sudden attack, and Ziyu probably wouldn't have prepared anything beforehand, Lin Yi still checked every single room carefully. Lin Yi was afraid that Ziyu would hide some drugs, ecstasy, and whatnots. Lin Yi was afraid that Ziyu would get into the habit of taking drugs. One had to know that Lin Yi's detection abilities were quite strong, and all the hidden items in the room couldn't escape his eyes. Lin Yi walked around a big room. This should be Ziyu's brother's room, Armadillo's. The room was very spacious, and other than a bed, a desk, and a small closet, there was nothing else. It didn't take long for him to finish his investigation. Other than some of the armadillo's clothes, letters, and pictures, there was nothing else. Looking at the pictures Armadillo kept, Lin Yi couldn't help but sigh. Lin Yi couldn't help but remember some things from back then. But here, Lin Yi couldn't let himself show any hint of sadness. It'd be bad if Ziyu found out. Lin Yi left Armadillo's room and went into Ziyu's room. Ziyu didn't mind when Lin Yi went into her brother's room, thinking that he was helping her brother take something. But when she saw that Lin Yi didn't take anything and went back to her room, as if he was looking for something, she panicked. Like a cat that got its tail stepped on, she jumped in front of Lin Yi. You. What are you looking for?" Lin Yi's heart sank when he saw how nervous she was. Could it be that she really hid something in her room and didn't want him to find it? Could it be that she really was a drug addict? "Stand there." Lin Yi glared at Ziyu and ignored her, continuing to look for something in the room. Ziyu stomped her feet when she saw that she couldn't stop Lin Yi. Her face was red, but there was nothing she could do. She could only close the door, not letting Xiao Xiao and Chen Shi see what was going on in the room. "You. What are you looking for? I'll find it for you," Ziyu said as she watched Lin Yi get closer and closer to her bed. "Stand there. Didn't you hear me?" Lin Yi frowned, ignoring her. Ziyu felt wronged, but there was nothing she could do. She could only look at Lin Yi worriedly, looking around her bed. Suddenly, she saw Lin Yi pick something up. Ziyu felt like her heart was going to explode. Lin Yi's eyes lit up. He found her. He found her. She was done for. She was really done for. She wouldn't have any face left in the future. Lin Yi was speechless. He finally understood why Ziyu was stopping him from looking for things. She hid a vibrator under her pillow. Lin Yi felt a little awkward holding the vibrator, but since he'd found it, and he was playing the role of a guardian, Lin Yi couldn't just ignore it. It seemed that she wasn't that young anymore, even though he'd always treated her like a kid. 16 years old. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Didn't he sneak into porn when he was 16 and get caught by his old man? It was really awkward back then. Ziyu, on the other hand, was a gangster boss. She'd probably seen a lot of stuff like this, and she'd probably seen those movies before. Ziyu only bought a vibrator for herself, and it made Lin Yi feel much better than bringing a guy home for the night. It seemed that this Ziyu was a very clean girl. As for whether or not she was using a vibrator to masturbate, Lin Yi didn't see anything wrong with that. He coughed. "You should focus on your studies now, don't use these things too much. When you use it, you need to be hygienic. You don't get a gynecological disease at such a young age. Come here, I'll give you a checkup." "Huh? Checkup?" Ziyu was embarrassed when she heard what Lin Yi said, but what Lin Yi said next made her eyes go wide. Gynecological disease. Checkup. Was Lin Yi going to give her a checkup? Chapter 1269. Chapter 1267, Opening Ziyu. Yes, check. Lin Yi nodded solemnly. Lin Yi was pretty sure that Ziyu didn't have anything like ecstasy in her room, but he wasn't sure if the girl had eaten anything like that before. Checking her pulse was the safest way. Of course, he could check if the girl had gotten herself some gynecological disease or something. "Ah, you really want to check?" Ziyu gritted her teeth as she looked at Lin Yi bitterly. Upon closer inspection, this guardian was quite handsome and capable, with even Xihua and Zhu Ruoguang treating him with respect. This was the Prince Charming of her dreams, but, this guy didn't care about her at all. He was a tyrant. He suddenly wanted to check her body again, and this made Ziyu instinctively resist. No, she really couldn't. What's with all the bullshit? Lin Yi frowned and pulled Ziyu in front of him, grabbing her hand and checking her pulse. Ziyu snapped out of her shock, only to realize that Lin Yi didn't take off her clothes like she'd imagined, only checking her pulse. Ziyu breathed out in relief, but couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. It seemed like she was thinking too much. He still treated her like a kid. Good, I haven't done drugs before. Lin Yi breathed out in relief, his eyes softening as he looked at Ziyu. I don't have any gynecological diseases for now, but I can't say for sure in the future. Pay attention to your personal hygiene when you do it, don't stuff it in, just leave it outside. Ziyu was going crazy again, glaring at Lin Yi. I'm not an idiot. Put it in, and it'll break. I'm still a virgin. Lin Yi paused at the sight of Ziyu going crazy, but he understood what was going on. He treated her like a kid, but she probably didn't think the same way. She was already 16, and she wasn't a kid to her anymore. It was normal for her to be angry after hearing what he said. All right. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and let go of Ziyu's hand. I hate you. I hate you. Ziyu ran to her bed after Lin Yi let her go, hiding the vibrator and burrowing into her blanket, crying. Today was probably the most embarrassing day. Her privacy was exposed by a guy. She didn't want to live anymore. This guy was her guardian, but Ziyu didn't feel like one no matter how she looked at him. Ziyu felt wronged. Would he think that she was a shameless girl? Buying these things at such a young age? Ziyu's reaction made Lin Yi a bit helpless. He sighed as he looked at the crying Ziyu on the bed. He'd treated her like a kid, but he'd forgotten about her emotions as a young girl. But this thing wasn't easy to talk to. He turned around and walked out of Ziyu's room, seeing Xiao Xiao and Chen Shi chatting in the living room. He waved his hand at Xiao Xiao, signaling her to come over. This kind of thing was best discussed between girls, and he'd let Xiao Xiao talk to her a little. Xiao Xiao saw that Lin Yi was calling her and walked over. "What's wrong? Where's Ziyu? Can I ask you something? Have you ever, touched yourself?" Lin Yi lowered his voice and whispered into Xiao Xiao's ear. "What are you doing?" Xiao Xiao blushed as she looked at Lin Yi weirdly. But the two were a couple now, so Xiao Xiao didn't feel too embarrassed. She just didn't understand why Lin Yi would ask this all of a sudden. "Ying Ziyu bought a vibrator and I found out. She's crying on the bed now, can you go talk to her?" Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't ask if Xiao Xiao had done it or not. It'd be too ambiguous if he did. "Ah!" Xiao Xiao blinked, finding it funny. "Why are you going through her stuff? You're afraid she's hiding drugs or something, right?" Lin Yi shrugged. "I'll leave it to you." "All right." Xiao Xiao nodded and walked into Ziyu's room. Ziyu felt so wronged. As the big sis, she hadn't cried in a long time, but today, she couldn't hold it in anymore. Lin Yi was too much of a bully. This was a girl's privacy, how could he just say it like that? How shameless. "Ziyu." Xiao Xiao looked at the sobbing Ziyu, buried her head in the cup, smiling as she walked over and sat beside her. "Chem." "Xiao Xiao sis." Ziyu didn't expect it to be Xiao Xiao. She raised her head, embarrassed, wiping her tears. "Why are you here?" Ziyu had a good impression of Xiao Xiao. They hadn't talked much, but Xiao Xiao was much better than that tyrant Lin Yi. She didn't know how that tyrant found such a gentle and cute girlfriend. Was Xiao Xiao gentle and cute? Ziyu just didn't see the other side of Xiao Xiao. "Why are you crying? Where's that knife-wielding Ziyu?" Xiao Xiao smiled. "Xiao Xiao sis, you're making fun of me too." Ziyu was on the verge of breaking down. As for the strong Ziyu from before, she could go to hell. "I'm not making fun of you, but I heard what happened. Isn't it just a vibrator? I've used it before, it's no big deal." Xiao Xiao started bullshitting. She hadn't actually used it before, not even daring to think about love. She didn't even have someone to fantasize about, much less touching herself. But after getting together with Lin Yi, she had done it a few times recently. It was just that she only used her hands, not anything like a vibrator. "Oh, you have one too?" Ziyu paused, interested. "You're not lying to me?" "Of course not." Xiao Xiao started talking to Ziyu. She was a few years older than Ziyu, after all, and her mindset was different from Ziyu's. She just told her about the pros and cons and things to pay attention to, and it helped Ziyu get over it. As for what they talked about, only the two of them knew. But when Xiao Xiao brought Ziyu out of the room, Ziyu wasn't crying anymore. She had a shy smile on her face. "It's about time, Chen Shi should go back. Ziyu, stay at home and study. I'll come check next week," Xiao Xiao said to Ziyu. Chapter 1270. Chapter 1268. Testing Grandpa Zhu, but she wasn't that nice to her guardian, Lin Yi. She said goodbye to Lin Yi unwillingly, thinking that it would be best if they never met again. Lin Yi didn't bother with the kid, either. He smiled and brought Chen Shi and Xiao Xiao out of Ziyu's house. Ziyu looked at Lin Yi's back and hemphed. She threw the newspaper on the ground and started stomping on it. "I'll stomp you to death. I'll stomp you to death. I'm so pissed." Lin Yi, naturally, didn't know that Ziyu thought he was the one stomping on the newspaper. After leaving Ziyu's house, Lin Yi went to a pharmacy and bought some medicine before bringing Chen Shi to her house with Xiao Xiao. Chen Shi's house was a place Lin Yi came to last time, but he didn't go upstairs. This time, Lin Yi pretended to ask casually, "Shi, where's that old man with you last time at the beach? He didn't get crippled by Xie Yufeng, did he? How's that possible?" Chen Shi was about to say that Grandpa Zhu was really strong, teaching Xie Yufeng a lesson after Lin Yi left. But she didn't get to finish before she was interrupted. At this moment, Grandpa Zhu had already appeared in the corridor. He coughed twice and said with a smile, "Xiaoxi is back. This is Why are you still concerned about the fight I had with someone at the beach? I'm an old man, but I'm not heavily injured. I'll be fine after a few days of rest. She paused, not knowing why Grandpa Zhu would suddenly appear and interrupt her. But since Grandpa Zhu said that, she didn't say anything else. She remembered that Grandpa Zhu told her to hide the fact that he knew Kung Fu, but as far as she was concerned, Lin Yi was a good person, her mother's savior. It shouldn't be a big deal to tell him. But since Grandpa Zhu didn't want to, she could only give up. After all, in her eyes, Grandpa Zhu was a good person worthy of respect. All these years, he had taken care of her and her mother, so she still had to listen to Grandpa Zhu. Oh, that's good. But I heard that Xie Yufeng was heavily injured. I wonder who helped you out. Lin Yi looked at Grandpa Zhu with a smile that wasn't a smile. Seriously injured by someone? It can't be, right? Could it be that someone saw me being bullied that day and helped me? But I was scared that day and left in a hurry, so I didn't see what happened behind me. Grandpa Zhu pushed all the blame away. I see. Lin Yi nodded and looked at Grandpa Zhu. I heard your surname is Zhu? Yes, what's the matter? Grandpa Zhu's heart skipped a beat and he asked calmly. It's nothing. This surname is quite rare. I have met someone with the surname Zhu. I wonder how he is related to you. Lin Yi asked calmly. Oh. The world is big, there are many people with the same surname. Naturally, it has nothing to do with me. Grandpa Zhu shook his head. I haven't even told you who that person is, and you already know it has nothing to do with you? Lin Yi asked. Young man, you must be joking. I am a lonely old man with no family left. Of course, I wouldn't have anything to do with others. Grandpa Zhu smiled. I see. Lin Yi nodded. If that's the case, then I won't disturb you any longer. I'm going to Xi's house to treat her mother. Young man, thank you. Grandpa Zhu nodded. She was confused by the conversation between Lin Yi and Grandpa Zhu. She naturally didn't know that it was Lin Yi's test. She thought that Lin Yi and Grandpa Zhu got along well, so she didn't think much about it. If Lin Yi couldn't see through Grandpa Zhu's strength and was only suspicious, then he wouldn't have gotten any accurate information from the previous test. After all, there were no flaws in Grandpa Zhu's words. However, Lin Yi wasn't just suspicious, but he was sure that there was something wrong with this Grandpa Zhu. The previous few words made Lin Yi even more certain that there was something wrong with this Grandpa Zhu. Grandpa Zhu went downstairs. When Lin Yi and the others entered Xi's house, a gloomy look flashed across his eyes. Little bastard, you ruined my plans. You actually have doubts about me? Looks like I have to tell the master about this. Grandpa Zhu gritted his teeth and roared. Testing me? I don't think you'll find anything. The bridges I've crossed are more than the roads you've walked. After scolding Lin Yi, Grandpa Zhu found a place with no one and made a phone call. Elder Zhu, why are you calling me at this time? Didn't I tell you? Don't call me if there's nothing important. If Jin finds out, I'm afraid she'll cause trouble again. On the other side of the phone, it was a man's gloomy voice. That woman, you haven't killed her yet? She's just a slut, how can she die so slowly? I'm sorry, young master. The plan was about to succeed, but it was ruined by that brat, Lin Yi. You know that brat, Lin Yi, he'll ruin everything, Grandpa Zhu said with some annoyance. That woman was about to die of cancer, but Lin Yi cured her. If it wasn't for the master wanting Xiao Shi, I wouldn't have gone through so much trouble to give that woman cancer in order to cultivate a relationship with her. I would have killed her with one slap. Xiao Shi has been trained by you since she was young, she's a good cultivation vessel. She'll be a bargaining chip for us to rope in other families. The man didn't seem to see Shi as his own flesh and blood at all. He only saw her as a bargaining chip. But thinking about it, the man was a playboy when he was young, he went around flirting, it was normal for him to have a few bastards outside. It's just that Xiao Shi's mother was a hotel attendant, her status was so low that the man only saw her as a slut. I understand, but that woman. Grandpa Zhu said with some difficulty. With Lin Yi here, I can't do anything. Lin Yi. I'll talk to my father about this. Don't worry about him for now, just don't let him find out. The man ordered. Yes, young master. Grandpa Ju nodded. Mother Chen's complexion was good today, much better than before. It could be seen that she was definitely a first-class beauty when she was young, but the vicissitudes of time made her a little haggard. But after a period of continuous medication, Mother Chen's change was still very obvious. Chapter 1271. There's something wrong with the water, Auntie Chen. Just call me Lil Yi, no need to call me Mr. Lin. Lin Yi smiled. Looks like you're recovering well, exceeding my expectations. Now we can move on to the next treatment. Then I won't hold back, I'll call you Lil Yi. Mrs. Chen smiled. Thank you, if it weren't for your medicine, I wouldn't be able to recover this fast. Go get some tea for the guests. What are you standing here for? Okay, Mom. Chen she had gotten a lot closer with Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao this afternoon. She forgot to pour them tea when she got home, only remembering after her mother reminded her. No need, we don't drink tea. Lin Yi waved his hand. I just came to check on your recovery, Auntie Chen. I'm relieved now, Xiao Xiao and I should go. You're not in a hurry, right? Why don't we eat here tonight? Mrs. Chen quickly asked Lin Yi to stay. Sure, let's eat together then. Lin Yi nodded. He didn't have much to do tonight anyway, he just wanted to keep Xiao Xiao company. Thinking about it, if he didn't return and stayed outside to accompany Xiao Xiao, the young miss wouldn't say anything. It was fine as long as Xiao Xiao was happy. Xiao Xiao was very happy, too. She saw an optimistic and unyielding spirit in Chen Shi, and that made her feel much better. That's great, I'll go cook with Shi in the kitchen. Lil Yi, you and Xiao Xiao can watch TV in the living room? Mrs. Chen was very happy that Lin Yi agreed. No need, we'll go help too. It'll be faster, Lin Yi smiled. Don't look down on me, I'm a master chef. Haha, Lin Yi honey cooks really well. Xiao Xiao added. Mrs. Chen wanted to reject them, but after hearing what Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao said, she had no choice but to let Lin Yi go to the kitchen. Chen she was washing the vegetables, Mrs. Chen was cutting the meat, and Xiao Xiao was helping her. Lin Yi, on the other hand, had nothing to do. This is the water for washing vegetables. Lin Yi's gaze suddenly focused on the vegetable bowl in front of Chen Shi. What's wrong with water? Big brother Lin Yi? Chen Shi was confused. Let me see. Lin Yi squeezed through, and Chen Shi was pushed to the side. Lin Yi's body bumped into Chen Shi, making her blush a little. But when she peeked at Lin Yi, it seemed like he didn't notice it at all. Chen Shi secretly let out a sigh of relief. How could Lin Yi know what this child was thinking? It was one thing for Ziyu to have some thoughts, since she used to be a gangster. But a good girl like Chen Shi had thoughts too. Although Chen Shi was a good girl, she was still in puberty. She had some fantasies about the opposite sex. Lin Yi, on the other hand, had helped her family so much that it was impossible for Chen Shi to not have feelings for him. It was just a hazy feeling, and Chen Shi hid it in her heart, not daring to show it. She was afraid that Xiao Xiao would find out and think that she was trying to seduce her boyfriend. If that happened, Chen Shi would be too ashamed to show her face. Where did this water come from? Lin Yi dipped his finger in the water and put it in his mouth. Ah, it's tap water, is there a problem? Chen Shi was pulled back from her thoughts by Lin Yi's question, and after a slight pause, she quickly replied. Tap water? Lin Yi frowned. He turned on the tap water and put a few drops in it. Yi, what's wrong? Is there a problem with the tap water? Mrs. Chen saw Lin Yi studying the tap water and quickly walked over. Is the water quality bad? It's like this in the old city, it's already connected to the water purifier. Water purifier? Lin Yi lowered his body and found a water purifier under the cabinet. Lin Yi didn't say anything and closed the water valve, then removed the water purifier. Lin Yi's action made Chen Shi and Mrs. Chen stunned. If it was someone else doing this, then Mrs. Chen would definitely stop it. How could you just remove someone else's water heater? However, it was Lin Yi who did it, so there must be a reason, so Mrs. Chen didn't ask much. Where did you buy this water purifier? After Lin Yi removed the water purifier, he carefully checked the water purifier and asked. This water purifier wasn't bought, it was picked up by Grandpa Zhu when he was picking up junk. After he helped to replace the filter, he helped us install it. What's wrong? Lin Yi Gij, is there a problem? Chen Shi asked curiously. Nothing, don't use this water purifier, it's a bit dirty. Lin Yi frowned. Grandpa Zhu again? Why him again? Could it be that Grandpa Zhu caused Mrs. Chen's cancer? In this water purifier, there was a substance that would cause cancer if taken for a long time, but Lin Yi didn't know why Chen Shi didn't get cancer. Was it because she was young and had a strong immune system? Or did she take the antidote before? In short, Mrs. Chen's cancer wasn't an accident, it was caused by someone. After removing the water purifier, Lin Yi reconnected the tap water. This time, there was no problem. Lin Yi's brows furrowed deeper and deeper, and the doubts in his heart grew bigger and bigger. Before, when Lin Yi saw Grandpa Zhu beside Chen Shi, he felt it was strange, but Grandpa Zhu didn't seem to have any bad intentions towards Chen Shi. Lin Yi was just curious why a peak late-phase mystic classmaster would be beside Chen Shi. But now, Lin Yi could be sure that this Grandpa Zhu didn't have any good intentions. He actually poisoned the water purifier. The purpose was to give Mrs. Chen cancer, but Lin Yi didn't understand. Why would a peak late-phase mystic classmaster use such a strenuous method to harm Chen Shi and her mother? Couldn't he just kill them? Could it be that he had some other purpose? Of course, Lin Yi could only think about it in his heart, he wouldn't say it out loud. For Chen Shi and her mother, Lin Yi was only familiar with them, not close. Lin Yi couldn't just blame Grandpa Zhu. Now, it seemed that Chen Shi and Grandpa Zhu's relationship was very good. If he said it out loud, Chen Shi might not believe him. The water purifier isn't clean? Then we can't use it anymore. Seems like the things we picked up aren't reliable. Mrs. Chen didn't think too much. After all, we aren't professionals. Since Lil Yi found the problem, then we don't need it anymore. Chapter 1272. Grandpa Zhu's goal? All right. Mother Chen naturally believed what Lin Yi said. Lin Yi was a doctor. How could a doctor's words be false? After dinner at Chen Shi's house, Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao said their goodbyes. Mrs. Chen and Chen Shi sent Lin Yi off warmly, telling Lin Yi to come visit again when he was free. Lin Yi agreed with a smile. After leaving Chen Shi's house, the smile on Lin Yi's face suddenly disappeared, becoming very gloomy. Lin Yi honey, what's wrong? Xiao Xiao asked, noticing Lin Yi's weird expression. Mrs. Chen's cancer is man-made. There's something wrong with that water purifier. Lin Yi didn't need to hide it from Xiao Xiao. Ah, there's something wrong with that water purifier. I know, it's that Grandpa Zhu. Xiao Xiao wasn't an idiot. Lin Yi had said that there was something wrong with that Grandpa Zhu back at the seaside, and Lin Yi had tested her again today. Naturally, Xiao Xiao knew that Lin Yi was suspecting Grandpa Zhu. It's him. I just can't figure out what his purpose is. A peak late-phase mystic classmaster, did he have nothing better to do? Poison a single mother? Is he out of his mind, or was it really unintentional? Because Chen Shi also said that the water purifier was picked up by Grandpa Zhu when he was picking up junk, but after changing the filter, it continued to be used. As for whether there were other problems in the water purifier, they were not professionals, so naturally they couldn't tell. Then why is Chen Shi fine? Xiao Xiao quickly thought of Chen Shi. That's what I'm curious about. Did Chen Shi take the antidote, or is her resistance stronger? Lin Yi shook his head and said, the harmful substances in the water purifier can't cause cancer in a day. This is a long-term process. Eating it for a long time will cause cancer, so I'm surprised that Chen Shi is fine. Maybe she's young, and she doesn't eat at home often? Is that why? Xiao Xiao asked. It's possible, but that Grandpa Zhu is very suspicious. Lin Yi said, but I don't know what he's planning, so I can only take it one step at a time and come to see Chen Shi often. Ian, that Grandpa Zhu, I feel uncomfortable just looking at him. Xiao Xiao said, we can't let him hurt Chen Shi. In the blink of an eye, it was time for the fundraiser. Before the fundraiser, there was a singing competition. After the preliminary and semi-finals, the school had selected the best soloists and choirs. Today, the finals would be held on the school's sports field. Because of the participation of members of the public, in order to ensure the safety of the students and the smooth progress of the donation event, the school's leaders had already notified the police, and early this morning, Lingshan brought a group of police officers to the school to maintain order. Yufeng wasn't planning on donating at the event, but he didn't think that Lingshan would bring a team to maintain order in the school. He had to do something. Lingshan, I didn't think you'd come too. Yufeng smiled as he walked over to greet Lingshan. Sorry, I'm on official business right now, I don't have time to chat with you. Please help yourself. Lingshan looked at Yufeng, not planning on talking to him at all. Lingshan was annoyed to death with Yufeng, and she didn't think that he'd come over to talk to her today. The fundraiser hasn't started yet, right? Miss Song, don't tell me that you don't even have time to talk. Yufeng didn't seem to understand the meaning behind Lingshan's words at all as he continued to stand there. Since it hasn't started yet, shouldn't Mr. Yu go prepare? Why don't you contribute to charity later? You're not planning on being stingy, are you? Lingshan didn't like Yufeng, but she didn't mind him donating a sum of money to her. Haha, I've actually prepared for it. I'm very supportive of charity. I didn't think that Miss Song was a supporter of charity as well. Yufeng smiled, thinking how much should he donate. Since Lingshan liked people with love, naturally, he should donate more. If he donated too little, Lingshan would think that he was stingy, but if he donated too much, Yufeng wouldn't be satisfied. Why should he just waste his money like that? If it weren't for Lingshan, he wouldn't even donate a single cent. Seeing Yufeng walk over to Lingshan, Lin Yi frowned. Did this guy know Lingshan? Lin Yi didn't know who Yufeng was, and he didn't know about the marriage between House Yu and House Song. Lingshan didn't tell Lin Yi because Lin Yi didn't have any feelings for her. She didn't want to embarrass herself and let Lin Yi push her to Yufeng. Huaijuan, on the other hand, thought that Lin Yi already knew about this when he was on the phone with Lin Yi, so he didn't bring it up. Lin Yi wasn't planning on letting House Yu go, so why would he bring up Lin Yi's relationship with Lingshan and House Yu? It would make him look like a busybody, so when Lin Yi saw Yufeng talking to Lingshan, he was suspicious. Yufeng, on the other hand, didn't know about the relationship between Lin Yi and Lingshan. Otherwise, he wouldn't be talking to Lingshan in front of Lin Yi. He didn't know that his actions had exposed his identity. Soon, the finals of the singing competition began. Tang Yun and Meng Yaro walked up the stage in their best outfits. The two were about the same height, and their beauty levels were about the same as well. The moment they got on stage, it caused a commotion. Tang Yun was already taken, and Meng Yaro was the daughter of a rich family. Although the boys knew that their chances weren't high, it didn't stop them from loving beauty. Even if they couldn't take it for themselves, they could at least take a look, right? The people who were invited to attend the fundraising event also began to discuss the background of the two girls. Keeping students as mistresses wasn't a secret among the rich. Meng Yaro and Tang Yun, these two absolute beauties, attracted the attention of the rich. It wasn't a surprise. The two of them were already beautiful, and with makeup, they were even more beautiful. It would be strange if these people weren't tempted. However, after knowing that Meng Yaro was Peng Zhan's daughter, they shifted their attention to Tang Yun. Chapter 1273. Xie Yufeng's tragedy again, but Tang Yun was different. No one knew who she was, so in everyone's eyes, she was just a commoner school beauty. But in reality, Tang Yun was indeed a commoner school beauty, and so, some people started to be tempted, and Fatty Shun was one of them. Fatty Shun came from a mining background. There were a lot of mines near Songshan City. Fatty Shun had made a lot of money in the past few years. He was a real rich man. After he had money, he began to enjoy life. He had played with countless famous models and small celebrities. But after he got tired of playing with them, Fatty Shun was more inclined to play with young and pure girls like Duan Ying. After Fatty Shun memorized Tang Yun's name, his eyes never left Tang Yun's body. The more he looked, the more he drooled. Boss Zhu, how much do you think this girl Tang Yun would cost? Fatty Shun looked at Zhu Tiandi lecherously. Fatty Shun also had some underworld background. These days, if a miner didn't have any underworld background, he would definitely be bullied and wouldn't be able to control the situation. So, in order to get closer to Zhu Tiandi, Fatty Shun purposely sat beside him to get closer to him. What do you mean how much? Zhu Tiandi was watching a performance. Today, he heard that Hayoshi Lin's girlfriend was hosting a charity event, so he ran to the school to show his support. Ever since his son said that he had a relationship with Lin Yi, Zhu Tiandi was very happy. He didn't have to be afraid anymore, and he had the energy to gamble and pick up girls. Today was the perfect opportunity to please Lin Yi, so naturally, he wouldn't let it go. Tang Yun, that girl is so pretty, with big breasts and a round butt. TSK, if I could touch it, it would be so good. Boss Zhu, what do you think if I get her and play 3P? Fatty Shen squinted his eyes and said. What? 3P? I'll play your mom. Zhu Tiandi jumped up, raised his arm, and gave Fatty Shen a big slap. Motherfucker, are you trying to kill me? I don't know you. You bastard, why don't you go die? Zhu Tiandi was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. It wasn't easy for her to mend her relationship with Hayoshi Lin, but this guy actually suggested that she play Lin Yi's wife with him. Don't you want to die? If the omnipotent Hayoshi Lin were to hear this and suspect him, then he would really be out of luck. In the past, Zhu Tiandi had a good impression of Fatty Shen. Fatty Shen was smart and knew how to do things. He knew how to be filial to Zhu Tiandi, so he had a good impression of him. But today, he saw that this guy was a fool. Zhu Tiandi quickly drew a line between them. Zhu boss, why did you hit me? Fatty Shen was stunned by Zhu Tiandi's sudden attack. I know, Zhu boss, you are interested in Tang Yun, right? Don't worry, I won't fight with you, you can have her for yourself. Fatty Shen's voice wasn't soft, and when Zhu Tiandi was beating up people, he made a lot of noise. Many people were looking at him, so Fatty Shen's words were heard by them. Zhu Tiandi almost exploded when he heard Fatty Shen's word. Your mother. Do you want to kill me first? When did I fall in love with Tang Yun? Is she someone I can fall in love with? She is Hayoshi Lin's wife. I would rather stab my eyes blind than look at her. I like your mother. Zhu Tiandi kicked Fatty Shen's body. I am a decent person, how can I fall in love with someone else? Tang Yun is like a goddess, do you think I am worthy? Not to mention you, who is worse than a pig or a dog? Zhu Tiandi kicked Fatty Shen's body. Although Fatty Shen's body was fat, he didn't dare to fight back. He didn't know why Zhu Tiandi was beating him like crazy. However, gradually, Fatty Shen understood something. From Zhu Tiandi's words, could it be that Tang Yun was someone with a powerful background? Following the conflict, Song Lingshan quickly walked over. Mr. Zhu, what are you doing? How can you hit people so casually? If you don't want to participate in the charity event, you can choose to leave. Song Lingshan warned. Officer Song, we are just playing around. If you don't believe me, you can ask Fatty Shen, right? Zhu Tiandi saw that Song Lingshan had come, so he could only stop. Although he hated Fatty Shen, he couldn't just leave before the charity event started. Wouldn't it be a waste of his effort? Yeah. Officer Song. We are just playing around. Fatty Shen said with his mouth leaking air. No matter how wronged he was, he didn't dare to say anything. Although he was strong, compared to Zhu Tiandi, he was still far from it. You old bastard, how dare you? Get out of my sight. Xie Yufeng saw that Song Lingshan had come to stop the fight between Zhu Tiandi and Fatty Shen, so he came to save the damsel in distress. Xie Yufeng only wanted to show off in front of Song Lingshan, so he didn't think much and ran over, blocking in front of Song Lingshan. Zhu Tiandi and Fatty Shen didn't dare to do anything to Song Lingshan, but Fatty Shen wouldn't be polite to this bastard who came out of nowhere. He had been kicked by Zhu Tiandi before, and he had a stomach full of anger. Now that someone came to help him vent his anger, he naturally wouldn't let him go so easily. Where did you come from, kid? Who are you telling to get out of my sight? We are just playing around, what does that have to do with you? Fatty Shen looked at Xie Yufeng and asked coldly. You fatty, you're not happy? Xie Yufeng didn't want to show any weakness in front of Song Lingshan. Seeing that Fatty Shen dared to talk back to him, he was furious. You are here to donate money, we welcome you, but if you want to fuck us, don't blame me for being rude. Slap. Fatty Shen slapped Xie Yufeng's face. Who do you think you are? What are you doing here? Officer Song, there is an idiot here, are you going to do something about it? You dare hit me? Xie Yufeng was furious. He was a mystic, the young master of Houseu, and he was slapped in the face by a fatty. If he didn't kill him, It would be a waste of his strength. But the next moment, Xie Yufeng froze. This wasn't right. They were in school. Not outside of school. In school, in front of Lin Yi, he had been hiding his strength. He couldn't reveal it. Before, because of Song Lingshan, Xie Yufeng subconsciously forgot about this, thinking that he was the young master of Haosu, not the Xie Yufeng in school. But now, he suddenly remembered that he was in school. Chapter 1274. So what if I hit you? Who do you think you are? How dare you talk nonsense in front of me, Fatty Shen? Fatty Shen sent another slap at Yufeng's face. Yufeng was shocked and angry, but there was nothing he could do. He pointed at Fatty Shen. You, he said the word you 3 times, but didn't do anything else. Evidently, Yufeng didn't dare to act rashly. Officer Song, look at this. This is such a busybody. Why didn't you take her away? I was sparring with Boss Zhu, learning from each other. What does this have to do with him? Is he an intern from your police station? Fatty Shen looked at Lingshan and pushed all the responsibility of hitting the man away. Lingshan didn't know what to do. She didn't like Xie Yufeng in the first place, and she had no intention of protecting him. Since Fatty Shen had said so, Lingshan nodded and said, Master Yu, let the police handle this. You should focus on preparing for the donation. Xie Yufeng looked at Fatty Shen coldly and thought to himself, don't let me see you again, or else I will beat you into a cripple. Yufeng hemphed coldly and left. Staying here would only make things awkward. If you two want to spar, go outside and spar. Here, donate. Boss Zhu and Boss Shen, you two are so active, do you want to donate more money? Lingshan said. Of course. Officer Song, I was going to donate even if you didn't say anything. I'm going to donate 500,000. Tiandi said generously. Ah! Lingshan couldn't help but be taken aback. She said all that just to make Tiandi and Fatty Shen bleed, but from what she saw, these mafia bosses would at most donate 10 or 20,000. She didn't expect Tiandi to donate 500,000 all at once. Lingshan froze. She had to re-evaluate her impression of Tiandi. Did this guy turn over a new leaf? And he's become passionate about charity and public welfare? That would be a blessing for Song's Han. Fatty Shen was also stunned. He didn't think that Zhu Tiandi would be so generous to donate 500,000. He came here just to join in the fun. He planned to donate 10 or 20,000, but since Zhu Tiandi said so, Fatty Shen didn't want to donate too little. He said, I'm also going to donate 100,000. Lingshan's face was a little weird. She'd wanted to find an excuse to kick these two out, but it seemed like it was better to keep them around. Since these two were so compassionate and had decided to donate so much money, Lingshan naturally wouldn't let them go. Looks like the two bosses are quite compassionate. I won't disturb you then, you guys can continue. Lingshan nodded and left. Donating money was fine, sparring if you wanted to. After sitting down, Fatty Shen asked, Boss Zhu, what happened to you just now? What did I say wrong? Humph. You almost got me killed. Thank goodness I made myself clear in time and Hayoshi Lin didn't blame me, otherwise I would have died because of you. Tiandi hemphed coldly. Ah! Hayoshi Lin? Who is that? Fatty Shen froze. In Songshan, there aren't many people that I, Zhu Tiandi, am afraid of. I'm just giving him some face, there's no need to be afraid. But, there's one person I'm afraid of, and that's Lin Yi, Hayoshi Lin. Tiandi said, this person is too scary. In Songshan, this person is not someone you can offend. Ah! Fatty Shen froze. Lin Yi? I've never heard of him. You don't need to have heard of him. At your level, you won't be able to come into contact with such a powerful person. But remember, those two girls on the stage don't have any bad intentions, or you will die a horrible death. You will really die, don't think that I'm just trying to scare you. Tiandi said seriously. Ah, I understand. Fatty Shen quickly nodded. No matter what, he remembered Tiandi's words. In the future, if he met any Lin Yi or Hayoshi Lin, he would try to avoid them as much as possible. If even Tiandi was afraid of them, then they were definitely not easy to get along with. The fundraising event had begun. The voting power was just to give these celebrities a sense of balance, but in reality, They didn't get any substantial benefits. Thank you all for your enthusiastic participation. The top 10 of the singing competition has been decided. Now, let's welcome director Wang Jifeng to announce the winners. Tang Yun didn't have stage fright after a short period of time, but when she saw director Wang Jifeng walking over, she felt that life was really strange. The scene where she accidentally poured the bucket on Wang Jifeng was still vivid in her mind. Now, she was the host, and her relationship with Wang Jifeng wasn't bad either. Tang Yun didn't think that there would be a day where she would become the center of attention in school. In fact, who didn't want to be the center of attention? In the past, Tang Yun was afraid. She didn't have a sense of security. She was afraid that her beauty would bring her trouble, so she had to keep a low profile. Even so, it still caused some unnecessary trouble. But now that she was with Lin Yi, no matter how high profile she was, no one would dare to do anything to her. The guest seats were very close to the tea stage, and Tiandi and Fatty Shun were sitting at the very front. How could Tang Yun not hear their conversation? Seeing Tiandi beat up Fatty Shun, Tang Yun thought it was funny. But the truth was, these bad people were afraid of Lin Yi, and she benefited a lot from it. The list of winners was read out. The top 10 winners received a certificate and prize money from Wang Jifeng. However, because it was a fundraising event, the winner of the first place announced on the spot that he would donate his prize money to the children of the orphanage. With the first winner taking the lead, the other winners also generously donated their prize money. Among them, there was a rich student who donated an extra 2,000 yuan, which received a warm applause. After this process, it was time for the free donation. First, it was the students and teachers who donated, and finally, it was the celebrities who donated. Xie Yufeng didn't donate with the students because he wanted to be in the limelight. He waited until Meng Yaro announced that the celebrities would donate, and then he stood up. Originally, Tiandi wanted to be the first to stand up. He was here to support Lin Yi, so he wanted to show his initiative and enthusiasm. But he didn't expect that Xie Yufeng would take the initiative. Chapter 1275. Xie Yufeng was pissed. Do I have to queue up to donate? Xie Yufeng wanted to be the first to donate and leave a good impression on Lingshan, but he didn't expect to make a fool out of himself. Fatty Shun ruined his plan again. At this time, the students who didn't know what was going on were discussing among themselves. Isn't Xie Yufeng a student? Why is he donating with people from the society? A student said. That's right. Is he trying to show off that he's rich and that he's a celebrity? Another student said. Xie Yufeng's face turned ugly. He wanted to show off, but he didn't expect it to turn out like this. Xie Yufeng looked at Fatty Shun with hatred. Forget it, Fatty Shun. Let someone else donate first. Everyone is giving their love, so it doesn't matter who donates first. Zhu Tiandi didn't rush to donate anymore. Since something like this happened, and the young man was already on the stage, if he rushed to donate first, then Lin Yi would see that he was trying to flatter Lin Yi. It would be a bit pretentious, so he might as well let him go first. Me. You're lucky, you donate first. Fatty Shun let go of Xie Yufeng and said. Xie Yufeng's face was full of resentment. What was going on? He just donated, and he got himself into trouble. Donating was supposed to be a very glorious thing, and Xie Yufeng wanted to use this opportunity to show off his style, but now, there was a fatty standing next to him, as if he was supervising him, urging him to hurry up. This made Xie Yufeng go crazy. For the orphans of the orphanage to have a good life, I've decided to donate 200,000. Xie Yufeng walked up to the stage proudly and said to Tang Yun and Meng Yao. Thank you for your support, Xie Yufeng. Tang Yun smiled sweetly and nodded to Xie Yufeng. Although she didn't like this Xie Yufeng, Tang Yun was the host, and Xie Yufeng was the donor. She couldn't look at him with emotion. Originally, Xie Yufeng wanted to take the microphone and say a few words. He had donated 200,000, and from Xie Yufeng's point of view, 200,000 was the highest amount that the arena had ever donated. He wanted to show off in front of Lingshan, but just as he was about to ask Tang Yun for the microphone, he heard Fatty Shun say, 200,000 and you still want to speak? Hurry up and go down. Don't waste any more time. Boss Zhu is going to donate 500,000 yuan later. Fatty Shen's voice was very loud, and it was heard through the microphone in Tang Yun's hand. It made all the students present burst into laughter. Yufeng felt his face heated. This was the most embarrassing moment he'd ever been in his entire life. The last few times he'd been embarrassed, Lin Yi had seen it, but it was only in a small area. Most people didn't see it, but today, not only did he do it in front of the whole school, he did it in front of Lingshan. Yufeng felt that if he didn't say anything, he'd be a coward. However, when he looked at the tall and sturdy Fatty Shen, he felt that if he didn't use his qi, he wouldn't be his opponent. So, Xie Yufeng could only take a step back and vent his anger on Tang Yun. Why didn't you turn off the microphone? Do you want to die? Yufeng's voice went through the microphone in Tang Yun's hand, and it spread to the whole school. Instantly, the whole school was in an uproar. Although some people thought that Yufeng's actions were funny, they only felt that it was funny. But now, they looked down on Yufeng. Why was this person so uncultured? Scolding the MC? What did it have to do with the MC? Is this kid crazy? Is he crazy? Why is he acting like a mad dog? He made a fool of himself, and now he's scolding others? Student A asked curiously. Hey, you can't tell, right? How is he crazy? He's very smart. He's bullying the weak and afraid of the strong. He didn't dare to do anything to that fatty, so he started scolding the MC. Student B explained. But, this MC, isn't she Lin Yi's girlfriend? This Xie Yufeng is going to be unlucky, Student C said sympathetically. As expected, they were right. From the moment Tang Yun was scolded to the moment Lin Yi jumped on the stage, Lin Yi kicked Yufeng's chest and kicked him off the stage. After that, Lin Yi didn't stop. He didn't even say anything to Tang Yun, and he went back to his seat. This was the first time Lin Yi had a direct conflict with Yufeng in a public place. Before, Lin Yi didn't know Yufeng's background, and Yufeng didn't do anything that crossed Lin Yi's bottom line, so Lin Yi didn't do anything to him. He let him stay in the school, but today, Yufeng's scolding made Lin Yi angry. Your wife is the one, even if she is, she's the only one who's flirting with me. And so, Lin Yi didn't hold back and kicked Yufeng off the stage. Although Lin Yi didn't know how Yufeng broke through and became a mystic mid-phase in just a few days, Lin Yi was already a mystic mid-phase peak. Naturally, he wasn't afraid of him. If he wanted to fight, then fight. Lin Yi couldn't kill him. Yufeng didn't think that Lin Yi would kick him off the stage like this. Yufeng froze. But then, he realized that the MC on the stage was Lin Yi's girlfriend. He didn't know what to say and scolded her, and now Lin Yi was here for revenge. Yufeng fell off the stage, and he had a murderous urge. He decided to discuss it with his father tonight. He wanted to kill Lin Yi. Of course, in school, in front of everyone, especially in front of Lingshan, Yufeng had no choice but to hold it in for now. Even if he was a disciple of House Yu, killing someone in school was enough to cause him trouble. Yufeng stood up gloomily, but he didn't have the face to stay in school anymore. He walked out of the school. 200,000, not only did he not get anything good, but he also got himself a bad name. Seeing Yufeng leave the school with his tail between his legs, the students mocked him, and some cursed him. None of them had anything good to say. The conflict between Lin Yi and Xie Yufeng happened in a very short period of time, so it didn't cause too much of a commotion. With Yufeng's gloomy departure, everyone's attention returned to the event. Chapter 1276. Thank you, Xie Yufeng, for the 200,000 donation. I would like to thank him on behalf of the orphanage. Meng Yarrow pulled back the atmosphere of the event with a smile, as if she didn't see Yufeng leaving with his tail between his legs. Next, Zhu Tiandi went on stage, representing Tiandi Entertainment Group, and donated 500,000 to the orphanage. The audience cheered for him. Compared to Xie Yufeng's 200,000, Zhu Tiandi's donation was a huge amount. Thank you, Chairman Zhu. Tang Yun knew that he was Zhu Ruoming's father, but thinking about how respectful Zhu Ruoming was to her now, her resentment was gone. Tang Yun even felt grateful to Zhu Ruoming. If he didn't bully her, she wouldn't be in contact with Lin Yi. In the end, he was her matchmaker. No need to thank me, it's our responsibility to help the orphanage. Madam Tang Yun is hosting this event, so I'm willing to pay for it. Zhu Tiandi said this to Lin Yi. It was obvious that he was supporting Tang Yun. If it weren't for Lin Yi, he wouldn't have donated so much money. Haha, I would like to thank Chairman Zhu again. Tang Yun smiled. She wasn't stupid, and naturally understood what Zhu Tiandi meant. Zhu Tiandi donated and left the stage happily. Today's mission was complete. Next, many famous local entrepreneurs also went on stage, but the amount wasn't as much as Zhu Tiandi. It ranged from 10,000 to 50,000, but it wasn't a huge amount. This was within Tang Yun and Meng Yao's expectations after all. This was just a small charity event organized by the school. It was already good enough that these people were willing to donate because of Peng Zhan. Only Zhu Tiandi donated because of Lin Yi. Of course, Lin Yi didn't inform Fatty Lai. Lin Yi didn't want to do this, so Fatty Lai could just use the name of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company to donate to the orphanage. He didn't need to go through the school's event. Doing good deeds was not for others to see, and Lin Yi did not want to gain any false reputation. Now, let's enter the next segment of the event, the auction. Tang Yun announced the next segment after calculating the total amount of donations. The items in this auction are all donated by everyone, and the proceeds will be donated to the orphanage. Meng Yaro said. Meng Yaro might have said that, but most of the auction items were donated by Meng Yaro, and some were taken out by Peng Zhan. These were the things that the tycoons cared about the most. As the richest man in Songshan, Peng Zhan must have a lot of treasures in his house. The previous donations were just an appetizer. The real main course was this auction. Expensive calligraphy and paintings, as well as rare treasures, were the favorites of these celebrities. The first auction item is a painting donated by the principal, Ding Bingong. It was created by Ding Bingong, and everyone knows about his reputation. Tang Yun introduced the first auction item. Since this wasn't a formal auction, and there were no big screens or picture books, Tang Yun could only say it out loud. Yu Shu and Xiao Xiao were in charge of displaying the items. Ding Bingong was a painter, and he wasn't that famous in the country, but he was a famous person in the academic world. His paintings were quite good, and many people in Songshan sought after them. Of course, the price wasn't very high, either. The most expensive one sold for 50,000, and that was an award-winning work. The painting that was being auctioned right now, although it was painstakingly drawn, wasn't worth as much as an award-winning work. 2,000. The starting price was 1,000, and soon, someone raised the price to 2,000. 3,000. The price continued to rise until it reached 8,000, and it was taken by an entrepreneur. Of course, 8,000 was already enough to satisfy Ding Bingong. The price of his paintings was maintained at around 5,000, and 8,000 was already a high price. The following items were some birthday gifts Meng Yaro received, some expensive handicrafts from Peng Zhan, and some donated by Yu Shu. Of course, there were donations from normal students and teachers as well, but most of them weren't worth much. 1,800 was already a lot. Only Meng Yao's root carvings and Peng Zhan's inkstone were sold at a high price. Obviously, these celebrities at the scene were also people who knew what was good and what was valuable. They could tell at a glance what was good and what was valuable. The next item is the last item of this auction. Tang Yun picked up the list and read, "The last item is a kiss donated by Meng Yaro." Ah! Tang Yun paused after reading the auction list. The miss on the side froze as well. Who added her own kiss? Who added this? What kind of joke was this? But, seeing Shu winking at her from the side, Meng Yaro understood what was going on. The list of items had always been organized by Shu and Xiao Xiao, and the auction wasn't very formal, so after the list was organized, Meng Yaro and Tang Yun didn't look at it in advance and read it out directly. At this time, the words had already been said, and Meng Yaro couldn't go back on her word. Although this was related to her reputation, an auction was an auction. Who would believe it if she said it was a joke? Even if someone would believe it, Meng Yaro didn't want to embarrass herself. Meng Yaro really wanted to beat the crap out of her when she saw Shu winking at her. This Shu was asking for a beating. What the hell was she doing? However, before Meng Yaro could say anything, Yu Shu ran over and grabbed the microphone from Tang Yun's hand. "School bell Meng Yao's kiss, the auction starts now. The starting price is 10,000, Start bidding now. Meng Yaro was furious as she glared at Yu Shu. She didn't know what Yu Shu was trying to do. Was this a joke? However, Meng Yaro wasn't stupid. She thought of a possibility. Could it be that Yu Shu prepared it for Lin Yi? To let Lin Yi get a kiss from her? Thinking about little Shu's usual behavior, this guess was indeed possible. Meng Yaro was embarrassed and angry at the same time, but she was relieved. It was fine if it was taken by Lin Yi, but if it was taken by someone else, Meng Yaro would rather die. Chapter 1277. What? The audience was in an uproar, their eyes wide open as they stared at Meng Yaro in shock. They didn't think that the last item would be so explosive and novel. She was the school's princess, the idol of many boys. However, most of the students also knew that they would not be able to enjoy this kiss. After all, the starting price of 10,000 yuan was enough to make people flinch. Moreover, this was only the starting price. In a while, the price would increase to a terrifying number. As a board member of the school, Peng Zhan naturally attended this fundraiser as well. He was stunned when he heard that Yu Shu was auctioning off Meng Yao's kiss. What was the meaning of this? Judging from his daughter's reaction, it seemed like she didn't know. Was it Shu, the troublemaker, who did this again? Peng Zhan felt a headache coming on. If this kiss was won by Lin Yi, his daughter wouldn't say anything. But if it was won by someone else, then he'd be screwed. That was why Peng Zhan felt a headache coming on when he saw this. If Lin Yi wasn't going to make a move, then he'd have to do it himself. It was natural for a daughter to kiss her father. It wasn't a big deal. Binggong and Jifeng looked at each other as well. This was a high school, and auctioning off a kiss was indeed a little overboard. But this was a public charity event, after all, and it wasn't their place to stop it. Moreover, the person in question was Peng Zhan's daughter, and if Peng Zhan wasn't doing anything, what could they possibly do? Jian Wen's eyes lit up as he sat below the stage. He wasn't here for charity. He only had one goal, and that was to see Meng Yaro. He heard that Meng Yaro was the host, and so he brought Tai Zhao to Songshan's first school to find a seat among the audience. Jian Wen, on the other hand, wasn't very interested in the previous auction items. As the young master of House An, a family that supported the Firewolf gang, he had quite a collection. Many of them were smuggled in and treasured, so he didn't really care about the ordinary items. But this last item made Jian Wen's eyes light up. And bro, Meng Yao's kiss. Isn't this what you want? I think this is a great opportunity for you. Tai Zhao chimed in happily from the side. But, Meng Yaro hasn't been very nice to me lately. If I get this kiss, won't she be happy? Jian Wen was hesitating now that things had come to this point. How could that be? Since Meng Yaro put her kiss up for auction, she has to accept that someone else will buy it, Tai Zhao said. Why would she put it up for auction if she wasn't mentally prepared? And looking at this boxing arena, the only one who has the strength and is willing to spend money to get this kiss is you, brother, and other people wouldn't like her either. They would definitely feel that it wasn't worth it to spend so much money on a kiss, but you're different, brother, and that makes sense. Jian Wen nodded. So you're saying that it's prepared for me, then? Not for that Lin Yi? How is that possible? If they really wanted Lin Yi to kiss her, they could have just done it at home. Why are they auctioning it off? They're just looking for trouble. Tai Zhao analyzed. You're right. Then I'll bid for it. Jian Wen nodded, full of fighting spirit. This is Yaro Yaro's first kiss. Yu Shu continued to add fuel to the fire. Anyone want to bid? 10,000 is so cheap. How much? Jian Wen asked softly as he looked at Tai Zhao. This wasn't a good price if he gave too little. It'd seem like he was looking down on Meng Yaro, and if he gave too much, it'd seem like he was a big spender. How about 50,000? Not too much, not too little. That's so expensive, I don't think anyone will fight with you, Tai Zhao said after some hesitation. All right. Jian Wen raised his hand. I'll give you 50,000. Meng Yaro frowned. She wasn't expecting Jian Wen to be a part of this, and this made her feel a little troubled. What was Shu doing? What if Jian Wen got the kiss? But Meng Yaro couldn't lose her temper on stage. She was Peng Zhan's daughter, and the host of the fundraiser. What would others think of her if she flipped out on the spot? Tang Yun was the one who announced the item, and others would think that she was unhappy with Tang Yun, and Yu Shu was adding fuel to the fire. What if she fell out with her best friend? Even if she explained that she didn't know about the kiss, who would believe her? Someone's bid 50,000, anyone else? Yu Shu didn't expect Yaro Yaro's kiss to be sold for 50,000. That was a lot of money, 60,000. Lin Yi didn't know what Yu Shu was up to, but it was obvious that the miss didn't want to give the kiss to Jian Wen. As her bodyguard and live-in friend, he had no choice but to make a move. 60,000. Someone has bid 60,000. Is there anyone who wants to bid higher? That brave and handsome guy from before. Yu Shu looked at Jian Wen. Jian Wen saw Yu Shu's gaze and heard Yu Shu call him a brave and handsome guy. He felt good about himself all of a sudden, thinking that Yu Shu was hinting that the kiss was tailor-made for him. That made him even more excited. Otherwise, why would Yu Shu call him a brave and handsome guy? After all, Meng Yaro liked brave people the most. Could it be that Yu Shu wanted him to be with Meng Yaro? With that thought, Jian Wen was filled with fighting spirit. He stood up and shouted, 100,000. I'll bid 100,000. Where the crowd was shocked again. One kiss was worth 100,000, wasn't that too shocking? But in fact, 100,000 wasn't the highest price. The guys who were fantasizing about it gave up. Although they liked Meng Yaro, 100,000 for a kiss was too high a price. 200,000. Lin Yi stretched out his hand and said faintly. Although Lin Yi didn't know if the miss would be embarrassed if he won the kiss, he knew that the miss would be unhappy if Jian Wen won the kiss. Although the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Company's funds were tight, Lin Yi could still take out 200,000. Other things aside, the pocket money that Peng Zhan gave him was enough for 200,000. But, why did it feel so awkward to use the money that Peng Zhan gave him to buy a kiss from his daughter? Chapter 1278. Jian Wen was pissed when he heard Lin Yi's second bid. He couldn't help but rage. You're just a little bodyguard, and you're going against me? How much money do you have? Peng Zhan gave it to you, didn't he? Using it to buy Meng Yao's kiss. Are you an idiot? Yeah. Tai Zhao nodded. This guy doesn't know his place. And bro, you can kill him with money if you want. That's right, you want to compete with me, and Jian Wen? What a joke. Jian Wen's underground arena had been making a lot of money recently, and it was a profitable business. Jian Wen had made a lot of money, and now was the time to be rich. He stood up and said, 300,000, I'll pay 300,000. Someone's paying 300,000. Yu Shu said excitedly. 300,000, anyone higher? With that, Yu Shu gave Xiao Xiao a look. Xiao Xiao knew what Yu Shu meant immediately. The two were of the same mind, as expected of a troublemaker duo. One look was all it took to know what the other was thinking. Xiao Xiao sneakily took out her phone and sent a text to Lin Yi. Lin Yi honey, you can raise the price, but you have to let Jian Wen win. Lin Yi was about to bid when his phone rang. Lin Yi took out his phone and looked at the text, pausing. He didn't know what was going on, but he knew that Xiao Xiao had something up her sleeves. No matter how messed up she was with Yu Shu, she wouldn't joke about Meng Yao's kiss. Lin Yi smiled and raised his hand. 350,000. Lin Yi was going to say 500,000, but after seeing Xiao Xiao's text, he changed it to 350,000. He didn't want to scare Jian Wen off. Haha, Lin Yi's starting to raise the price by 50,000, he's out of money, Tai Zhao said gleefully. That's for sure, I have to win this time. Jian Wen smiled and stood up. 400,000. 400,000. Lin Yi felt that this was already a very high price. He estimated that Jian Wen's mental capacity should be around 500,000, and so Lin Yi stood up after some hesitation. 450,000. 500,000. Jian Wen said without hesitation. But Lin Yi didn't know if he should continue or not. He was afraid that Jian Wen would give up and ruin Yu Shu and Xiao Xiao's plan, and so, Lin Yi raised his head to look at Xiao Xiao, who was giving him a look. Lin Yi estimated that the price was about right, and so Lin Yi reached out his hand and sat back down, looking like he had no choice but to give up. In truth, Lin Yi didn't even want to do it. As far as Yushu and Xiao Xiao were concerned, 500,000 was already a lot. What if Jian Wen gave up on the deal? Then he wouldn't be able to achieve his goal of tricking him. But just as Yushu was about to say, 500,000, is there anyone else? Someone else called out. The bidder was Chu Pengzhan. 800,000. Pengzhan reached out his hand and said faintly. To Pengzhan, 800,000 was nothing. He could do a good deed and get a kiss from his daughter at the same time. It was a good deal. Lin Yi, on the other hand, paused. He didn't expect Pengzhan to make a bid when he gave up. Lin Yi looked at the stunned Xiao Xiao and Yushu on the stage, and he jumped in fright. He didn't want to let Pengzhan ruin these two girls' plans. And so, Lin Yi quickly forwarded Xiao Xiao's text to Pengzhan. Time was of the essence, and Lin Yi didn't have time to edit it, so he sent Lin Yi hubby as well. But he was sure that Pengzhan would understand. Pengzhan's phone rang after he called out the price. Pengzhan sat back in his seat and pulled out his phone to look at the message. Achem. Pengzhan froze. Lin Yi honey, you can raise the price, but you have to let Jian Wen get it. Lin Yi said. Lin Yi hubby. Pengzhan blinked. How did he become Lin Yi's hubby? Did they send it to the wrong person? He quickly looked at the sender's number, but seeing that it was from Lin Yi, it must have been Lin Yi who forwarded it. It was probably either Tang Yin or Xiao Xiao who sent this message to Lin Yi, telling Lin Yi to give up. That meant that they didn't want to auction off Meng Yao's kiss, but had a backup plan. At that thought, Pengzhan regretted that he'd rushed to bid. Wouldn't he scare Jian Wen off? Plus, he'd increased the price by 300,000. Would Jian Wen continue to increase the price? Indeed, Pengzhan's sudden bid did scare Jian Wen. He didn't expect Pengzhan to suddenly bid. What was the meaning of this? Did he not want him to win Meng Yao's kiss, or was he testing him? Why hadn't Pengzhan made a bid before? Why did Lin Yi make a bid when Pengzhan didn't? And so, Jian Wen hesitated. Tai Zhao, what do you think Pengzhan is doing? Why did he suddenly bid? That. And bro, I think that Pengzhan is testing you, to see how much you care about Meng Yao. Meng Yao is a rich girl, and 500,000 for a first kiss isn't that much. So, Pengzhan is trying to raise Meng Yao's value, and also to see if you really like Meng Yao. Tai Zhao analyzed. If you really like her, you wouldn't care about spending a few 100,000. If you don't, you'd give up. That makes sense. Jian Wen patted Tai Zhao's shoulder. Then tell me, why didn't Pengzhan bid when Lin Yi was bidding? Could it be that Pengzhan has high hopes for Lin Yi? Not necessarily. I think it was because Lin Yi was bidding, and Pengzhan didn't need to bid. Now that Lin Yi gave up, he decided to bid. Tai Zhao said. I see. Then was that Meng Yao's first kiss? Could it be that Yushu made it up? Didn't she say that Meng Yao gave her first kiss to Lin Yi? Jian Wen asked suspiciously. How can you believe Yushu's words? That girl is full of lies, and we've been tricked by her all these years. I think that she might have given her first kiss to Lin Yi, but definitely not to Meng Yao. Tai Zhao sighed. Can't you tell? Yushu seems to like Lin Yi a little, and she doesn't want to be separated from Meng Yao. That's why she's always urging Meng Yao to marry Lin Yi and be his first wife. Chapter 1279. Yushu thought that no one else was going to bid for 800,000, but her plan was ruined by Uncle Chu. She couldn't ask Xiao Xiao to send him a message, could she? Plus, Uncle Chu had already bid, so there was no point in hinting anymore. Jian Wen hadn't made a bid yet. 1 million. Just when Yushu thought that it was over, Jian Wen jumped up and bid again. Yushu was very happy. Wow, there's still a strong bidder. 1 million. Yaro's first kiss is already worth 1 million. Are there any higher bids? I don't think so, right? 1 million going once, 1 million going twice, 1 million going thrice, sold. Congratulations, Jian Wen, for getting Yaro's first kiss. Yushu couldn't wait any longer, as if she wanted to sell Meng Yao's first kiss to Jian Wen. Seeing how much Yushu wanted him to get Meng Yao's first kiss, Jian Wen was overjoyed. Even Meng Yao's best friend was helping him. He had a 90% chance of getting the miss this time. It seemed that Yushu had thought it through and wanted to push Meng Yao to him. Waha! Jen Wen was so happy. He could feel that Yu Shu was helping him. Even Peng Zhan hadn't been able to make a bid before Yu Shu made the final call. Thank you for your support, everyone. Jen Wen stood up. He couldn't wait any longer. Other auctioneers would just swipe their cards and transfer the money, and get the item on the spot. Jen Wen, on the other hand, naturally wanted to get Meng Yao's first kiss right now. Now, let's welcome Jen Wen to the stage to receive the item. Yu Shu replaced Tang Yun and Meng Yaro as the host. Meng Yaro, on the other hand, didn't know what to do. What was this Shu trying to do? Was she crazy? She wanted her to kiss Jen Wen. Why didn't she just kill her? Meng Yaro was anxious, but she couldn't get angry. She just frowned and didn't know what to do. Jen Wen, on the other hand, couldn't wait any longer as he walked up the stage. Jen Wen, please swipe your card first. Yu Shu handed the POS machine to Jen Wen and said seriously. Okay, I'll do it now. Jen Wen smiled happily as he took out his bank card and swiped $1 million over, whispering, thank you, Shu sis. Don't worry, if I manage to get Yaro, you'll get a lot of benefit. Thank you for your generosity, Jen Wen classmate. Yu Shu, on the other hand, ignored Jen Wen. Now, let's welcome Jen Wen to receive the auction items. Now! Can we do it now? Jen Wen was very excited, salivating as he looked at Meng Yao's cold face. Of course, Yu Shu said. Yaro's first kiss is already yours. Waha, I won't hold back then. With that, Jen Wen started walking towards Meng Yaro. Meng Yaro glared at Yu Shu. Did Shu lose her mind? How could he do such a thing? Kissing Jen Wen? Jen Wen? Where did you go? Over here, Xiao's classmate will give you the item. Yu Shu grabbed Jen Wen and pulled him back. Xiao, isn't it Meng Yaro? Jen Wen paused. Why would he want Xiao's first kiss? Xiao was pretty, but spending $1 million to buy a kiss from someone like her. Wasn't he an idiot? Here it is. Xiao took out a water sculpture from a box and held it in her hands. Jen Wen classmate, this is for you. This is Meng Yao's first kiss. What? Jen Wen paused. What first kiss is this? This is the first kiss. Look. Xiao held up the sculpture. This is a sculpture made from Meng Yao's kiss mark. This is Meng Yao's first kiss. The sculpture in Xiao's hands looked like the hand marks of celebrities, except that this was a kiss mark made into the crystal. It was a souvenir. This is the first kiss. Jen Wen looked at the sculpture in Xiao's hands and almost cried. $1 million for a piece of broken glass. Was there a mistake? This was the first kiss. Was this a scam? Yeah, isn't it written here? Meng Yao's first kiss. Yu Shu said, pointing at the sculpture in Xiao's hands. The crowd burst into laughter as all the students could see that Jen Wen had been scammed. She was playing a word game, saying that this was Meng Yao's first kiss, but she didn't say that Meng Yaro was the one who kissed him. That's. Jian Wen's face was very ugly. He didn't think that Yu Shu would come up with something like this. He finally understood that he'd been played by Yu Shu again. Jen Wen wanted to curse. He'd spent so much money to buy a piece of trash like this. Meng Yaro finally understood why Yu Shu was auctioning off her kiss. It was all for Jian Wen's sake. Even Meng Yaro didn't remember this sculpture, but she seemed to have made it with Yu Shu in a shop back in middle school. She'd never looked at it again after that. She didn't know how Yu Shu found it, but she took it out and sold it for $1 million. With that thought, Meng Yaro couldn't help but laugh. It seemed that she'd worried for nothing. Shu was really evil, tricking Jen Wen like this. $1 million gone just like that. But, while this sculpture was her own kiss mark, Meng Yaro didn't really want to give it to Jen Wen. This was her real kiss mark, after all. What if Jen Wen took it and did something disgusting to her? But in comparison, this was a result that Meng Yaro could accept. If she was that worried, then Jen Wen might take her picture and do something disgusting to her. Jen Wen couldn't do anything. He'd been scammed, but he'd bought it willingly, and he couldn't get mad on the stage. If he did, wouldn't he look petty? Meng Yao's impression of him would be even worse. And so, Jen Wen could only accept his fate. He walked over with an ugly smile on his face, taking the sculpture from Xiao's hands. But, as soon as he touched it, it felt slippery, and with a whoosh, it fell off the stage, shattering into pieces. Chapter 1280. Fuck. It was only then that Jian Wen realized that the sculpture was covered in a slippery substance, and his hands were still feeling sticky and slippery. Jian Wen was about to explode. What the hell was this? Sorry, I spilled some lubricant on it, so it's a bit slippery. It's just that you broke it, it has nothing to do with me, Xiao Xiao said with an evil smile on her face. Jian Wen's eyes widened as he clutched his chest. He was pissed to death. Lubricant. How could there be lubricant on the sculpture? This Xiao Xiao must have done it on purpose. Fuck. This girl was as bad as Yushu. He was screwed. Jian Wen had been comforting himself with the fact that he bought a sculpture for $1 million, so be it. It was a broken piece of glass, but it was still Meng Yao's kiss mark. He couldn't use it, but he could still go home and fantasize about it. However, this time, it was great. It was directly smashed into pieces. There was not even a single thought left. It directly turned into a large pile of glass shards. Wow, Jian Wen classmate, you're so generous. $1 million for a sound, Yushu said as she looked at Jian Wen with admiration. Jian Wen wanted to curse, but he knew that he was on a stage, and Meng Yaro was watching. If he was too stingy, Meng Yaro would hate him even more. He had no choice but to cry and laugh. It's okay, haha. With that, Jian Wen didn't have the face to stay on the stage anymore. He got off the stage and walked back to his seat with his head lowered. The audience didn't know that there was lubricant on the sculpture. They thought that Jian Wen was angry that he bought $1 million for a broken piece of glass, and so he smashed it. He didn't want to smash it, so he pretended that he accidentally dropped it on the ground and broke it. Meng Yaro let out a breath of relief. Even she started to pity Jian Wen. This poor guy, meeting Yushu and Xiao Xiao was just his bad luck. These two girls were really ruthless, too. Not only did they scam him of $1 million, they even went as far as to smash the sculpture. Meng Yaro, naturally, didn't believe that the lubricant was accidentally spilled on the sculpture. Xiao Xiao probably did it on purpose. Why didn't she warn Jian Wen first? Something like this could have been avoided with just a reminder, so he must have purposely made Jian Wen fall on the ground. Meng Yaro didn't have to worry about Jian Wen doing anything bad with the crystal statue, though. This made her feel much better. Xiao Xiao and Yushu, on the other hand, looked at each other, seeing the evil smirk in each other's eyes. Lin Yi didn't know what to say as he looked at Jian Wen's sad face. But Yushu and Xiao Xiao, these two girls were really something. Jian Wen had no choice but to swallow his grievances. The fundraiser came to an end after Jian Wen's high price. The total amount was close to $2 million, and to the orphanage, it was a drop in the bucket. But that was all they could do, at least lessening the pressure on the orphanage. Lin Yi could have told Lingshan not to be so strict on the theft, but Lin Yi didn't do that. Lingshan had her own principles, and Lin Yi didn't want her to change anything. After all, what Xiaoke was doing wasn't right. She could only continue to live in the dark, and rely on herself. But, even if it was $2 million, Xiaoke was already very happy. At the very least, this $2 million was enough to last him for a period of time if he continued to live such a simple and hard life. After getting kicked by Lin Yi, Yu Feng rushed to his apartment in Songshan and called his father, Shirashing. He couldn't hold it in anymore. He had to teach Lin Yi a lesson. Feng, why are you calling me now? Aren't you in school? Shirashing picked up the phone, confused. Dad, I got kicked by Lin Yi today, and I can't hold it in anymore. I'm going to kill him. Yu Feng screamed as soon as he picked up the phone. Oh! Shirashing paused. You got kicked by Lin Yi? What happened? It's like this. Yu Feng told his father what happened today. I just casually cursed at his girlfriend, and he suddenly came on stage and kicked me off. Don't you think that's too much? With Lin Yi's protective personality, it's not strange. But, it's been so long, and you still don't know Lin Yi's background, and you don't know what level Lin Yi's strength is at, either. I'm worried that you'll get into trouble if you act rashly. Shirashing was a rather calm person, and he looked at the situation more holistically. Yu Feng, the Noble House meeting is starting soon, and it's best not to cause trouble now. House Zhao is so powerful, And the Xiao family has the hidden house pie's help as well. Why aren't they causing trouble for Lin Yi? There's probably more to this than meets the eye. But I can't accept this. I've lost all my face today, and if I don't get it back, I won't be able to stay in school anymore, Yu Feng said, unwilling to give up. That's something that can't be done. You have to learn to endure in order to achieve greatness. Shurashing sighed. House Yu used to be the strongest house in the world, but now that they have the support of House Pi, the Xiao family isn't much weaker than us, and the hidden House Jiao is even stronger than us. If they don't make a move, why should we be the ones to do it? If we don't handle this right, and there really is some sort of master behind Lin Yi, then it'd be a disaster for House Yu. Annihilation? It can't be that serious, right? Don't we have the support of the hidden House Yu behind us? Yu Feng jumped, calming down quite a bit. Chapter 1281. SSSS. Yu Feng sucked in a cold breath. So you're saying that Lin Yi's background might be really strong? Yes, that's why I didn't let you do anything rash. I've been talking to your brother these past few days, and I know these secrets. I didn't have time to remind you, Shurashing said. Thank goodness you didn't act rashly, man. So you're just going to give up like this? Yu Feng wasn't too happy, but after hearing his father's words, he felt that things were getting serious. He was arrogant, but he wasn't an idiot. He knew that his father wouldn't lie to him. How about this? Don't look into Lin Yi's background for now. Focus on getting close to Lingshan, and I'll announce this decision during the Noble House meeting. It'll increase House Yu's power and influence in the Noble House meeting, Shurashing sighed. Now that Family Xiao has House Pi's support, they're threatening our position. If we let Family Xiao grow, then we might not be able to control the Noble House meeting and the ranking. So, let's put Lin Yi's matter aside for now. Alright, but Lingshan doesn't seem to like me, she's a little cold. Yu Feng said, a little troubled. Then I won't go to school, I don't have the face to go there anymore. Alright, you don't have to go to school for now. We'll wait until the Noble House meeting is over and we confirm the position of the new generation of House Yu, then we'll go all out to deal with Lin Yi. It'll be easier that way, let him have his fun for a few days. Yu Feng really wanted to cause trouble for Lin Yi, but Shurashing was stopping him. He could only give up on that thought, but he couldn't let it out. It was just that he was pissed off that he couldn't vent it out. Time flew by, and Xiaoxiao's illness acted up again. Although it happened right in front of Lin Yi had to use half of his blood to wake her up. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Yi was a practitioner, he probably wouldn't have been able to hold on. Just as old Lin had said, Xiaoxiao's condition was getting worse and worse. Each time it happened, it was more severe than the last, and the cold energy in her body was getting more and more overbearing. A little bit of blood was enough to suppress it, but now it took more than half of his blood to be effective. This made Lin Yi's heart sink. If this continued, it would probably be all of his blood next time. Although Lin Yi had the art of dragon mastery to heal, Lin Yi didn't know if his blood would always be effective. Now, he had developed a resistance to the cold yin qi. This time, it was very obvious. But, in order to reassure Xiaoxiao, Lin Yi still had a smile on his face when Xiaoxiao woke up, as if nothing had happened. I'm alive again. Xiaoxiao opened her eyes and looked at the nervous Lin Yi, Meng Yaro, Yu Shu, and Tang Yun. Tang Yun had rushed to the villa as soon as she received Xiaoxiao's message, waiting for her to wake up. Haha, with me by your side, of course you'll come back to life. Lin Yi smiled. I told you, I won't let you die. Lin Yi felt like he was going against his will when he said that, but he had no other choice. He could only comfort Xiaoxiao like this. After all, it was more important for her to be in a good mood. I thought I wouldn't be able to come back to life this time. Xiaoxiao seemed to be quite open about it. I got my life back, thank you, Lin Yi honey. What are you thanking me for? Isn't it my duty to save you? Lin Yi smiled. Alright, let's get some rest, it's getting late. Tang Yun, why don't you sleep here tonight? There's a guest room upstairs. Lin Yi was very weak right now. He had half of his blood left, but he was holding on. He couldn't wait to enter the jade space to heal. Okay. Tang Yun could see Lin Yi's tiredness and nodded. Today was Friday, and there was no school tomorrow. The day after tomorrow was Shahan's concert, so it wasn't a bad idea for Tang Yun to stay here. But would Meng Yaro be willing? Then let's sleep together. My bed upstairs is very spacious. Yun Yun, it's not like we've never slept together before. You're not shy, are you? Meng Yaro smiled. Of course not. Tang Yun shook her head. The four of them were very familiar with each other now, so there was no need to be shy. Tang Yun was tired as well. It was best to rest as soon as possible. Lin Yi didn't care about them. He returned to his room, exhausted, and channeled the art of dragon mastery to sleep. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was fine now. She sat up from the sofa. She seemed to be in a good state, but she wasn't in a good mood. What's wrong? Xiao Xiao? You don't look too happy. Tang Yun noticed that something was wrong with Xiao Xiao. Man. Xiao Xiao sighed. Yun Yun sis, my body. I know. This time, I thought I wouldn't be able to live anymore, but Lin Yi Honey pulled me back from the gates of hell. But next time, it won't be so simple. I don't know how long I can live with you guys. Don't talk nonsense. Didn't Lin Yi say that he has a way to cure you? Why are you thinking so much? Tang Yun didn't say anything on the surface, but her heart ached for no reason. She saw how Lin Yi had healed Xiao Xiao today. Xiao Xiao fainted in the living room, so Lin Yi didn't carry her back to the room. He quickly cut his wrist and used his blood to heal her. Tang Yun, the miss, and Shu saw how much blood Lin Yi used. They saw the worry on Lin Yi's face as well. Lin Yi didn't say much, but anyone who wasn't stupid would know how heavy Lin Yi's heart was. Next time, it wouldn't be this easy. Even if he drained all of Lin Yi's blood dry, he might not be able to wake Xiao Xiao up. Yeah. Didn't you say that you'd live with us forever and go to university together? Meng Yaro had accepted Xiao Xiao as well. At first it was sympathy, but then it was friendship, and after living together, they became best friends who could talk about anything. Her relationship with Xiao Xiao wasn't much worse than Xiao Xiao and Tang Yun's relationship. The miss didn't want Xiao Xiao to die, but there were some things that she couldn't change. Chapter 1282. Haha, alright, we'll be the troublemaker duo, sweeping through the universe. Haha. Xiao Xiao started laughing, but after that, she felt a bit sad. Actually, you guys don't need to try and convince me. You know what my body is like. Yun Yun sis, I'm actually going to die, right? Look at how you're all centered around me. You even gave me Lin Yi hubby because I'm going to die, right? Of course not. Didn't we agree on this? It's just a bet. Tang Yun shook her head. Alright. I've thought it through. If I die, then so be it. If there's a next life, then we'll be sisters again. If there isn't, then I'll be in heaven waiting for you guys to come and accompany me. It's nothing. Xiao Xiao smiled. Actually, it's been more than 10 years, and I knew that this day would come. I'm already very happy and satisfied. Alright, let's go to sleep then. At least we're happy now. Meng Yaro nodded. Xiao Xiao was covered in Lin Yi's blood, and some of it had dried up. It was very uncomfortable, so she needed a hot bath first. I'll go shower. You guys? Xiao Xiao asked. We'll wait a bit, you shower first. Meng Yaro knew that Xiao Xiao wasn't feeling well, so she didn't hesitate to let Xiao Xiao take the bath. I'll shower with Xiao Xiao, Yushu said, wanting to join in. The bathroom was big, and it was more than enough for the two of them. Xiao Xiao didn't reject. She was quite familiar with Yushu now, and it wasn't a big deal to be naked with her. Xiao Xiao turned on the hot water and entered the bathroom first. Yushu said that she was going to get some body wash, and that she'd be back in a bit. Xiao Xiao didn't mind. But, just as Xiao Xiao was taking off her clothes and enjoying herself in the bathtub, Yushu came running in with a camera, excited. Xiao Xiao, come. I'll take a picture of you. Xiao Xiao jumped in fright. She didn't expect Yushu to run in with a camera. Then, wouldn't he have been recorded completely? Xiao Xiao couldn't help but get pissed at how excited Yushu was. She subconsciously jumped up and tried to grab the camera from Yushu's hand. However, when she stood up, she suddenly realized that she was completely exposed in front of the camera. But now, Yushu had bought all of them. Wow, Xiao Xiao, you have a great figure too. Yushu dodged as she slapped away. Hurry up and set it up. I was going to use it for Shield Bro's memories after you're dead. You should cooperate so that you can live forever in Shield Bro's heart. Since Xiao Xiao had seen through life and death, she naturally didn't mind Yushu joking around a bit. But Yushu's actions made her really shy, even though she already agreed with what Yushu said. He had to admit that Yushu was right. What if Lin Yi missed him after he died? He could look at his own video and reminisce about it, but this video of him not wearing clothes was a little embarrassing. Xiao Xiao didn't mind letting Lin Yi see it, but she was a little embarrassed. Plus, she was afraid that Yushu would turn around and give the video to Lin Yi. She'd be too ashamed to face anyone if that happened. If she were to wait until she was dead, then so be it. She wouldn't know anything once she was dead, so there was no need to worry. And so, Xiao Xiao thought of a good idea. She was going to drag Yushu down with her. Let's do it. How do you want to do it? Xiao Xiao didn't resist anymore, ready to cooperate with Yushu. Yushu paused. She didn't expect Xiao Xiao to think it through so quickly, but Yushu didn't think too much about it as far as she was concerned. Xiao Xiao wanted to leave something behind in front of Lin Yi, and so she let her guard down. She let Xiao Xiao do all sorts of seductive poses, and Xiao Xiao played along. And so, Yushu's guard was at its lowest. What she didn't expect was for Xiao Xiao to suddenly grab the camera from Yushu's hand and point it at Yushu herself. Wahahaha, stupid Shu, you fell for it. It's my turn now. Lin Yi honey saw me, and he saw you. Here, pose. Your boobs are so big. Xiao Xiao stepped to the side after taking the camera, so that Yushu wouldn't take it away again. Yushu didn't expect Xiao Xiao to be so cooperative before, but with Xiao Xiao's personality, it wasn't hard to understand why she would do that. Xiao Xiao could do what she could do, too. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Shield Bro's already seen me a couple of times. It's nothing. Yushu decided to be generous and let Xiao Xiao take the video, thinking that she'd have to wait for Lin Yi to see this video. Yushu considered herself as the second wife, but the two didn't have a real relationship yet. She didn't feel like it was a good idea to just show Lin Yi a video. But, since she was so happy today, it didn't matter if she took a video. And so, at first, it was just one person, but then it was two people. Finally, it was two people working together to film the Miss and Tangyun, and so, the Miss and Tangyun were in for a bad time. The video in the DV couldn't be shown to Lin Yi at all. It had just become a joke between the sisters. Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't expect Yushu and Xiao Xiao to make such a big commotion. After returning to his room, Lin Yi entered the training space immediately, absorbing the energy in the jade space like crazy. I'm afraid this will be the last time, Zhao Yazi said coldly as he looked at Lin Yi. What last time? Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. He understood, but he didn't want to understand. The last time we'll use this method to save her, Zhao Yazi said flatly. I don't believe you don't understand. I understand. But, why? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. So this was what Zhao Yazi was talking about. Lin Yi didn't want to accept this, but there was nothing he could do. Chapter 1283. You're giving me a hard time. Lin Yi looked at Zhao Laro helplessly. Can't you let me dream a little? Why did you have to say it out loud? I'm saying it out loud so you can prepare yourself and adjust your mentality. As a practitioner, your heart is already in a mess. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but if you're not in a good mood, it will definitely affect your training speed. This isn't what I want to see, Zhao Yazi said. Alright, since you can see through it, is there any other way? Lin Yi asked. If my real body was here, there shouldn't be a problem, but there's no other way. I'm just a shadow, or rather, a strand of soul. I can only exist in the jade pendant. There's no other way. Zhao Laro shook his head. Zhao Yazi's words made Lin Yi fall into deep thought. Lin Yi didn't want to accept this result, but there was nothing he could do. Forget it, let's just go with the flow. Lin Yi sighed. House Kang had recently bought a large amount of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine, but the situation they expected didn't happen. From their perspective, no matter how much raw materials they squeezed out, it wouldn't be able to withstand such a huge amount of consumption. However, Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine was starting to be sold on a large scale nationwide, and the supply seemed to be very abundant. Moreover, according to House Kang's investigation, Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was building a factory with great fanfare. Building a factory? What did this mean? It meant that the raw materials were very abundant, but the size of the factory limited the production capacity. This result made the people of the Kang family extremely shocked. What's going on? Can someone tell us? Where did they get the raw materials? Dr. Kang was furious when he heard the news. Didn't they say that they were losing money? Which family would lose money like this? Building a factory to increase production capacity just to lose money? Dad, don't get angry first. This matter needs to be investigated further. They might not be building a factory to produce injury medicine. Maybe they have a new product they want to sell. Kang Guifeng hesitated and stood out. The idea of buying a large amount of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine was brought up by Kang Guifeng and Zhaolong. Now that there was a problem, he naturally had to explain himself. Let's not care about their factory first. What I want to ask is, where did they get the raw materials? House Kang has used up almost all of our liquid funds in order to buy Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine. We've filled up the warehouse. Even when our Kang family was in its heyday, our warehouse was never so full. What did they use to produce the injury medicine? We've never produced this much, even during the harvest years. Miracle Dr. Kang was about to explode. He suddenly slapped the table and roared, "These are only the ones bought by our Kang family, and there are already so many of them. What about the others in the market? What's the market? They're buying more than us. They have everything. Even if we buy more, they still have more." Dr. Kang accidentally went to House Kang's warehouse today and found that it was filled with Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. That was when he felt that something was wrong. How many raw materials did they need to produce this? So he immediately called for Kang Guifeng, who was in charge of purchasing materials. Kang Guifeng was shocked when he saw the amount of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine in the warehouse. Wasn't this too much? He only ordered his subordinates to buy as much medicine as they could get, but he didn't check how much he got himself. Plus, it had only been a few days. Kang Guifeng thought that they couldn't get that much even if they bought more. But looking at it today, it seemed like there was a problem. They bought too much, and it didn't seem to affect the market at all. Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine was sold as usual, and there was never a situation where there was a shortage. This. Isn't nephew Zhaoming in charge of the other party's supply channel? Kang Guifeng wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. It seemed like his father was really angry, but Kang Guifeng didn't expect the situation in the warehouse to be so full. So, without a choice, Kang Guifeng could only push the blame to his nephew Kang Mingming. Kang Mingming was in charge of finding out the other party's supply channel. He didn't get the information, so what did it have to do with him? He had only made a wrong judgment when he had no information. Kang Mingming was looking at the joke coldly. He didn't agree to buying a large amount of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine, but no one listened. Now that they were in trouble, he was very happy. But he didn't expect his uncle to be so shameless and push the blame to him. "Uncle, you can't say that. Back then, I was against your way of doing things. I already said that the other party might have changed the formula and removed a few expensive herbs. That's why the cost was reduced and the output was increased. But you didn't believe me. Now you're pushing the blame to me. Isn't that a bit wrong?" Kang Mingming jumped out and retorted. Kang Guifeng suddenly remembered that Kang Mingming did object to it before. He didn't think much of it, but now that Kang Mingming reminded him, he remembered that Kang Mingming did say those words. No. He predicted it again. "Zhaoming, you seem to be able to predict things like a god recently. You seem to have predicted it a few times." Zhaolong said faintly as he looked at Kang Mingming. Zhaolong sounded like he was praising Kang Mingming, but anyone could tell that he was suspecting that Kang Mingming was colluding with outsiders to frame House Kang. Enough. Dr. Kang looked at Kang Guifeng and Zhaolong, who were trying to push the blame away. He slammed the table and scolded, "Shut up. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Zhaoming did say that before, but that was to remind us, out of good intentions. I'm the one who's lost my mind and listened to you two trash. No matter how much of a spoiled brat Zhao Ming is, he wouldn't collude with outsiders to frame House Kang. House Kang is his house, and when he becomes the head of the house, all these things will be his. What is he framing? Chapter 1284. Yes, Zhao Ming's right. The most important thing right now is to solve the problem. You two pieces of trash, look at Zhao Ming. This is what it means to care about House Kang, and you too? Pushing the blame away when something happens. Isn't House Kang still your House Kang? Dr. Kang scolded. Zhaolong and Kang Gui Feng were troubled. What was wrong with this Kang Ming Ming? His luck was surprisingly good these days, but he couldn't say these words out loud. Grandpa, uncle and brother are actually worried, but we're just a little flustered. Kang Ming Ming didn't wait for Dr. Kang to ask and started talking. I think that we, House Kang, need to take some measures to minimize our losses from this mistake. First of all, we have to stop buying the injury medicine from Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. I suggest that we bring the injury medicine to our lab for testing and comparison. We might not be able to analyze the formula, but we can see if there are any of the precious herbs in Miracle Dr. Kang's golden creation. I think this shouldn't be a problem for you, right? Kang Zhaoming spoke leisurely. What he said was what he said last time, but this time, it was more professional and strict. This was something Kang Zhaoming had prepared beforehand. Although Kang Zhaoming didn't foresee that his big brother would be at a disadvantage, he was unwilling to accept it last time. He had been praying for his big brother's plan to fail, so he made some preparations beforehand. He didn't think that it would come in handy now. Yes, Zhaoming is right. Zhaolong, bring some of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine for analysis and see if there are any precious herbs in it. This is very important. If there aren't any, we'll be screwed. Miracle Dr. Kang knew that something wasn't right. Then we'll have to sell our stock as soon as possible. Yes, Grandpa. Zhaolong had no choice. Kang Ming Ming was in the limelight now, but he still nodded with a dark expression. It wasn't an easy task to analyze the ingredients of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. With the current science and technology, it was not easy to analyze the formula. If it was so easy, then there would be no such thing as a secret formula in the world. Those outstanding food ingredients would also be analyzed by others, not to mention those finished pills. Back then, the Kang family had expended so much effort to analyze the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, but they hadn't been able to figure it out. In the end, they had come up with a dogsh*t conclusion, so one could see how difficult it was to analyze the formula. However, it was much easier to test whether there were a few known components in a certain drug. As long as they analyzed the characteristics of those components, they would be able to determine it. As a result, the test report of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine was sent back to House Kang as fast as possible. Looking at the series of red crosses on the report, Dr. Kang almost fainted. The red crosses meant that the ingredients weren't present, which meant that there wasn't a single rare ingredient in Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. No wonder the medicine was so cheap. There weren't any of those rare ingredients. Naturally, the cost would be lower. No, there's none. Dr. Kang threw the report at Kang Guifeng's face. You unfilial son, take a good look at yourself. You're a grown man, and your brain isn't as good as Zhaoming's. You should have gone to the lab a long time ago, but now you've got a whole warehouse full of trash. You've taken up so much of House Kang's liquidity. What should we do? Father, please don't be angry. I didn't think of this, did I? Plus, Zhaoming was the one who gave me Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. You saw it too, it's exactly the same as ours. Who would have thought that they would cut corners? Kang Guifeng frowned. You can't blame me for this, can you? Kang Guifeng didn't finish his sentence, but anyone could understand what he was implying. The only person to blame was Kang Ming Ming, who told him to bring back a fake prescription. Fuck your mother. Dr. Kang heard his eldest son's words and finally exploded. He jumped up and slapped Kang Guifeng's face. You're blaming others for your own mistakes? Zhaoming did bring back the prescription, but Zhaoming said that Guan Shuamin might have cut corners and changed the prescription. Why didn't you hear that? Do you have a choice? Kang Guifeng was slapped and immediately became quiet. He covered his swollen face, depressed. I'm sorry, father. Grandpa, since it's already happened, let's think of a way to solve it. Although father and I are both at fault, we're doing this for House Kang. We want to deal a blow to miracle Dr. Guan. Jiaolong quickly tried to smooth things over. Then tell me, what should we do? Dr. Kang nodded and asked. First, we should get rid of the stock in the warehouse as soon as possible. These things have an expiration date, and if they expire, we'll lose a lot of money. Jiaolong said, if it comes down to it, we'll have to lose some money and get rid of them. Since they cut corners on the medicine, the effects won't be as good as before. If there's a negative reaction in the market and we don't get rid of them in time, we'll lose money. That's the only way. Miracle Dr. Kang sighed. House Kang's recent financial situation can't take much more. House Kang's main business has been attacked by Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company, and it's not what it used to be. House Xiao broke off the engagement with us. It's one wrong step, and every step is wrong. Not to mention becoming a noble house, it'll be hard for us to maintain our previous glory. Grandpa, we shouldn't give up. We should take the initiative. Since we know that Miracle Dr. Guan cut corners on the raw materials, we can make a statement and attack them for their shoddy business practices. We'll tarnish their reputation. Jiaolong suggested, unwilling to admit defeat. He wanted to change his image in front of his grandpa. One had to know that he was the third-generation head of House Kang. But now, it had become Kang Jiaoming out of nowhere. He couldn't accept it. Chapter 1285. What? What's wrong with that? Jiaolong froze. What makes you think that their injury medicine is the same as our golden creation? Are you going to tell the media that you asked Zhao Ming to bribe the vice president of Miracle Dr. Guan's company to get the formula? If that's the case, then the reputation of our Dr. Kang's medical group will be ruined. Dr. Kang hemped coldly. Also, if you list out those precious herbs, our Dr. Kang's golden creation formula will be in danger of being leaked. You have to know that the uniqueness of our formula lies in those precious herbs. If someone else learns about it and tries to figure it out, there might be a Miracle Dr. Li or Miracle Dr. Wang appearing tomorrow. Isn't that just asking for trouble? Grandpa, I'm sorry, I didn't think it through. Jiaolong lowered his head, admitting his wrongdoing. He was too eager to turn things around, and he didn't think before he spoke. Jiaoming, what do you think? I didn't think that the person I looked down on the most in the whole House Kang is the smartest one now. Miracle Dr. Kang was very satisfied with Kang Jiaoming, especially since he'd performed so many miraculous feats. Miracle Dr. Kang valued him even more. Grandpa, I think we should do something else while we're dealing with the injury medicine. We can't just sit here and wait for death. Kang Ming said. The meeting of the noble houses is about to start. We have to do something, or we won't have a chance this time. That's right, we can't just sit here and wait for death. We have to take the initiative. This is what the descendants of House Kang should do. Dr. Kang nodded. Tell me your opinion. First, we're too weak. We should get a noble house to help us. The best one to help us is actually the Xiao family. After all, our two houses have an engagement. Compared to other noble houses, it's easier to get in touch with them. Kang Ming analyzed proudly. Actually, everyone understood his analysis. It was just that they felt that there was no hope. However, Kang Ming didn't care so much. He only wanted to improve his image and the right to speak. So, no matter how feasible this matter was, he would bring it up first. Well, that makes sense. Dr. Kang nodded. Jiaolong couldn't take it any longer. Makes sense. What *T logic. He knew that his grandpa liked Kang Ming now, so whatever he said, his grandpa would agree. Jiaolong calmed down and stood up to refute. Grandpa, Jiaoming, although the Xiao family used to have a good relationship with us, but now, the last time we went to visit the Xiao family didn't even acknowledge us. Do you think the Xiao family would still like us? What Jiaolong said is indeed a problem. Jiaoming, what do you think? Dr. Kang didn't have much ability or brains. He was just an illiterate who didn't even graduate from primary school. It was only by chance that he obtained the formula of golden creation that he was able to establish House Kang. In fact, he didn't have any ability at all. He didn't even have basic medical knowledge, let alone managing a family. But because of the powerful golden creation formula, other families came to suck up to them, so it wasn't a big deal for House Kang to be a little mediocre. But things were different now. Miracle Dr. Kang's pretense of being mysterious and unfathomable didn't work anymore. He'd trained himself to think and do things like a leader, but his foundation was too weak. He'd be the first one to panic when something happened to House Kang. This is related to the second thing I wanted to say. You guys have to let me finish. Kang Ming Ming rolled his eyes. He actually connected the first and second things together. He was very proud of himself. He was a genius to be able to connect these two things together. Oh! Then hurry up and tell me, what is the second thing? Dr. Kang didn't suspect anything. The second thing is that I need to find the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing as soon as possible. As long as our Kang family has the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, we will be able to create the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. To our Kang family, it will be a huge boon. The Xiao family knows that we can create the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. They will probably take the initiative to mend their relationship with us. If we have the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, the other families will definitely come to us for help. Wouldn't it be a piece of cake for us to become an aristocratic family? Kang Ming Ming said in one breath. After he finished speaking, he was a little impressed with himself. He was too amazing, too awesome, to be able to speak so fluently. He was a genius. Good idea. Good idea. Our Kang family has Zhao Ming. The heavens are truly blessing us. Dr. Kang slapped the table and laughed heartily. Grandpa, but Xuemin has the formula as well. This way, we won't be the only ones with the formula, and we won't have an obvious advantage. Zhaolong, on the other hand, was singing a different tune. He knew that Zhao Ming was bullshitting, and everyone knew that, but Zhao Ming just had to link it all together. He couldn't help but be impressed that his brother had such an unreasonable brain. That's not it. Kang Ming Ming said. It's said that the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is made from some rare herbs, and the production of these herbs is limited every year. It's very rare, so it's a matter of competition. Whoever can get their hands on these rare herbs first will have the advantage. I think that with our relationship with the pharmacists, even if we can't get all of these rare herbs, we'll be able to get a portion of them. Even if we only get a portion, we'll have a say in the matter. After all, the production of these herbs is low, and there's only a small amount every year. The rarer something is, the greater its value. We'll still have an advantage then. That's right. Zhaolong, look at your brother. When it comes to academics, he's not as good as you, but he's very good at scheming. You have to be impressed. But a scholar can't be the head of a house, after all. The head of the house needs to have brains. I think Zhao Ming's idea is very doable. Let's do it. Dr. Kang said happily. Yes, Grandpa. Kang Ming Ming agreed happily.